Okay, I'd like to start the meeting, September 24th, 2025, Planning Commission. Call to order. Mr. Kenny is excused tonight. Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Reyes.
Here.
Mr. Burke.
Here.
Mr. Price.
Here.
Mr. Studley is excused tonight. Secretary Anderson is excused tonight. Vice Chairman Kalunian.
Here.
Chairman Flynn is here. We have a quorum of 6. Emergency evacuation plan. The doors you came out, go back out to the left and the right. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before I start, I need a motion to move the agenda item 8.4, Highlands of Hopkins Hill. We're going to move that before Westwood Estates reconfiguration plan, and I will call that number 7.
Make a motion that we move, change the agenda, move item 8.4, Highlands at Hopkins Hill before Westwood.
I have a motion. I have a second. I have a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, approval of minutes. 5.1, August 27th. I entertain a motion for the minutes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from August 27th.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 6, we have a bond release. Recommendation to Town Council for final bond release, Highwood Subdivision, Phase 5, owner applicant, Resource Construction and Company, formerly AP 69, Lot 66 and 67, AP 70, Lot 35, Zone R20, and it's on Ginger Trail. The final recommendation to the Town Council to release the remaining 20% retention balance is $119,114.80. Do I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we release the bond 20%, $119,114.80 as shown on this memo we have from the town engineer.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second it.
I have a second. Any discussion? Staff is okay with those numbers?
We have no concerns with the memo as stated.
Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 7, we're going to go to the Highlands. It's a public informational meeting, final plan, major land development owner, applicant, D2 Homes and Company, portion AP 13, Lot 22, Zone BP, Business Park. Dante Boulevard, applicant proposes to 66 detached, single-family condominium units, vacant portion of a subject parcel along with the internal roadways associated with site amenities, public water, sewer connections are anticipated. Name and address, please.
Good evening, Joelle Rocha, offices at now 100 Westminster, Providence, Rhode Island. That would help. You want me to do that again?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good evening, Joelle Rocha, attorney for the applicant and owner, offices at 100 Westminster Street, Providence, Rhode Island. Thank you for the accommodation on that. I have a sick kid at home, and I know there's a lot of people in the room to hear a lot of different things, so I will be brief on this.
I think everybody understands. They've had kids that are sick.
Yeah, yep, it's fun. By way of brief background, when we were here on preliminary plan approval for those couple months, the hang-up was some of these construction conditions in the preliminary plan decision, draft decision that we didn't agree with. We talked a lot with the board and our engineer about why certain ones were not required. We had tried ahead of that preliminary plan meeting to craft really detailed conditions to try to address and accommodate all of the issues. We talked a lot about why the detail is needed, so there's no issues moving the project forward. We left that preliminary plan approval with basically a direction, go figure those out with the town engineer and town planner. If you can't, come back before the planning commission for final plan approval. So since that happened, I think our preliminary plan approval was on June 25th. On July 22nd, we emailed out proposed conditions. And I think I made a promise to this board when I was here on preliminary plan that these would be very detailed conditions, trying to address everything. We also talked a lot at preliminary plan about how the regulations applicable to this project don't really call for any of this, any of the inspections, any of the certificates of conformance. So we really were trying to put in a good faith effort to put detail in, understanding what the town was asking for. So those were submitted July 22nd. We submitted final plan application on August 1st. It was certified complete just by the timing on August 18th. We pressed for comments to the conditions of approval. I understand everybody's busy, but we got the responses a week ago to the proposed conditions. So we've tried working with the town staff on these conditions up until 2 o'clock today to try to get this done. There are, if you've seen the proposed conditions, they are lengthy. The only item left that there is an issue with is this paragraph 6, which is page 3. And there are 2 remaining issues. And so you probably haven't had a lot of time with this document, but early on in the document, it talks about upon completion of the infrastructure, we'll submit of the major infrastructure, we'll submit as-built, this and that, when that happens. It defines what a certificate of conformance is, what it's going to be used for, roadway infrastructure, drainage infrastructure, cuts and fills in the roadway. It talks about the responsibilities of the engineer of record. And then you get to paragraph 6, which, so when we sent this document over, it's identical to our draft, except the town added paragraph 6, 7, and 8. 7 and 8 were tweaked after we had a conversation Monday. Those are all set. So we're down to 6. And 6 talks about when those certificates of conformance are going to be submitted. Grouping the projects so that there are points in time that the applicant defines that says, okay, we're done with this group, here's our certificate of conformance. There's monthly reports required on this project, which we're already doing. So there's not like all of a sudden a big group of documents coming in. So we worked through the language with the town on that. So it comes down to 2 things. One is technical, and I'm going to defer to Greg from Dupree to go through that with you about the cuts and fills language. So you'll see that it says the COC shall certify all project construction associated with the group in accordance with paragraph 4E. When you go back to 4E, it lists every single type of COC that's needed, what it's going to cover. It's pretty detailed. The town wanted additional language in there, except that the COC shall address cuts and fills of all areas of the project. I'm going to, again, defer that. That's really technical to Greg. The second part is all final landscaping and final asphalt will not be done until the project is fully complete, is what we had. The town had added and shall be addressed in the third and final COC. Landscaping, not really an issue. That's not that significant in this. What the issue is the final coat of asphalt. And in this project, we typically, so this is a private road, we would typically do this after all the houses are constructed. You come back in, depending on timing during the year and scheduling for the contractor. The town wants this done before so the COCs would be issued before the last couple COs are issued. And the final coat of asphalt would not be put on until, look, all the construction vehicles are off-site, and, you know, if this is December and you can't put the final coat of asphalt on. The town's position is, okay, but what if you never do? Which is an issue in all private roadway developments in the entire town. I would say that then the homeowners are going to be angry. But also, you know, any developer can go out of business halfway through on a private development and you're in the same situation. So I think what we said is the final coat of asphalt, and that means if there are still construction vehicles on site and that coat gets damaged, then what? So I think we've asked that the landscaping is fine before the final COCs, but the final coat of asphalt, the top coat's got to go on after construction's done and complete. And we can't be held up by COs because it's now December or January and we can't put the final coat of asphalt on. These are going to be under contract by then. There are closings and mortgage contingencies and all that stuff. That's that one. Unless there are any questions on that one, I'm going to turn to Greg on the cut and fills, because I will butcher that, so.
Thank you. Name and address, please.
Good evening, Greg Guglielmo, Guglielmo, Dupree Engineering, 2 Stafford Court, Cranston, Rhode Island. So there's really, as part of these COCs, there's what we have is kind of 2 distinct levels of inspection. The first level inspection being on all of the private roadways. So there's levels in terms of what's on our plan set, and also what's best practices for our inspections, what's also required at the town and state level for inspections for things such as drainage, infrastructure, the pavement, cross-sections or testing of the different layers underneath the pavement, so compaction testing, testing as far as make sure the material is suitable to be used, temperature testing when the pavement goes down. There's a much higher level of testing required for the roadway and associated infrastructure than there is for general grading around the remainder of the site. So when we proposed the conditions, it was noted that the town was sensitive on grading outside of the roadway and being in compliance with the DEM plans, making sure that the grades were heading in the direction that they were intended to be heading. So we divided up our COC to be in that way, that we would look at the roadway, have a very specific set of standards around compaction testing, pavement testing, and then anything off the pavement, we'd be looking at general conditions to make sure that, you know, they obviously weren't using a material that shouldn't be used, but we have never, on the 33 years I've been doing this, done compaction testing on a landscape area around a home. So we were not testing any compaction or, you know, doing a sieve analysis on the types of material we're putting down. We were just generally make sure the material is suitable. And that's the way we have it written. So I think I explained that, kind of the way that we see it, but I open it up to you as far as any questions.
In the perimeter of the houses. So that's the compacting around the house.
Yeah, and
What
that-
about the infills, like in the adjacent yards and
Right, so
areas?
anything around the foundation is a building inspection issue. That has nothing to do with Dupree Engineering. We don't do those inspections. They're really based on what the building inspector would do, especially on a residential home. If it was a commercial site, we would probably be doing that type of testing if required. Anything that surrounds the perimeter of the site, the same thing. I mean, you normally are not doing compaction testing with that. They're usually not rolling a compactor around, you know, a grassed area. Usually they're grading it. You know, it rains for a few days, that compacts it, you go back, and any areas that may have sunk down, you would address. But that's kind of the normal standard of doing that, especially on a site where you're not making massive fills. This is not a site where we're dumping 10 feet of fill next to a butter. Most of this, where it's scraping off a foot or so of the native material, stockpiling it, and then bringing it back and loaming and seeding on top of that.
Okay, anybody from the board? I think we're just stuck on these two issues.
Right.
Staff, you want to jump in and just explain to us, and then I'm going to hear from Dave.
Before, could
Go
I
ahead.
just ask, and maybe staff can clarify, I'm trying to, I understand what Joel explained about the situation with the asphalt, like the differences. I could see, the language is here. It is now, yeah, sorry. But this one, I'm just, from what I'm hearing the engineer say, they are going to certify, like it's covered in V, but what's the issue with having that language? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What's the issue with the language that the town proposed? What's to the developer's detriment? There was a case laid out for, well, we don't want to put the last layer of asphalt on because if you can't get a CO and the closing's in the winter, and we want to make sure all the construction vehicles are out of there, but what's the issue with this one?
I can answer from our perspective. Really, it's the level of testing. We cannot provide the same level of testing, or the general practice is not to provide the same level of testing for outside of the roadways that you would for the roadway. So way we're reading it is it could open it up to we're doing compaction testing all throughout the whole site.
Right, I guess
I,
our point
I
is-
understand the road part, because being a private, there's no bond. So I think, and I'm just talking out loud, I think the town wants some assurance by holding those two last COs that everything is gonna be completed to satisfaction. I think what you're stuck on is not big things, as far as I mean, we're not usually judge and jury here. We look at the application. We've already approved this at preliminary. This is the first time for us that we get in the middle of a town and applicant argument in front of the board.
Yeah,
And I've been on
and
for almost 20 years.
And I think the problem is none of this is in the regulations. So we're doing our best to be like, we'll meet you in the middle. But you could go back and say, we don't have to do any of this, too, and you, town, go inspect it, and you're stuck with it. So I think that's where we're at. I go back to the asphalt issue, because what happens when those houses are ready to be CO'd, and you can't, it's January, and you can't put the final coat. of
I
asphalt.
understand that, but I think there can be some type of agreement that if those weather conditions are involved, there would be some kind of leeway, in my opinion. Obviously, when they close the asphalt plant, you're done.
Right.
There's no more asphalt.
But also, I think we want everything off, all that construction traffic off site. That might not be all completely done when that last CO is issued. So I don't see it. I do want to go back to the fact that, especially in this asphalt instance, there is nothing that's requiring any of this at all. And from a practical standpoint, if the asphalt doesn't get done, we have really unhappy homeowners when it starts to fail. And that's on reputation and all that stuff. But I think you can't bond it, it's private infrastructure, so this is where we're at. I don't think that part's an unreasonable ask. When we get to the town's language, like Greg said, it's covered in E, Roman numeral 5. And that's the problem with not having tight language, right? So we list what are the COC requirements, and then we're in here adding different language than is in above. And when we're talking about the same exact things. And when, Depreet's doing a certification about the grading generally on the site, that covers it. So we're throwing things in that's different than the other one. It opens up. It's why we're here in the first place. We want to make this as detailed as possible.
Can I just jump in? I just want to hear from staff
I
first.
think,
Okay, go ahead.
Say something? On the asphalt,
Kevin, do you mind having your mic on?
I'll
on
get
the
to you next,
asphalt,
Rick.
why don't we put the binder down?
From staff. The binder will go
Put the
down.
binder down, and then they come back and finish it when everything's done, or when the plants open up again.
That-
The binder will protect the road for a while.
That will be down. That's not an
The issue is they
final
want
vote.
the final coating down because there's no bond on the road, it's private.
Yeah,
So they want insurances that that final coat is gonna be put down.
you gotta wait.
That's the way I'm
Yeah, you
taking
gotta
it.
wait after then.
My question was, again, I'm sorry to believe it, but I just got to go back is, so what was the reason that the cut and fill areas can't be certified before the COs are issued? I think is that what it is?
No, that's not the issue. The issue is the language about the cuts and fill on all areas. Not when it's done, it's the issue that language is different than.
So are some areas different than other areas? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's really two distinct areas, roadway and everything else. And everything else, we had worked on, and I think we presented in front of the board, that in terms of our level of inspection, it would be to look to make sure those grades were in general conformance with the site plans. The difference with the road gets back to the level of testing we do on the road would be an inordinate amount and a tremendous burden on the developer to have to do compaction testing and sieve analysis on every single area of the site outside of the roadway. It's just not done for residential developments.
But does it say, it says the COC shall also address cuts and fills across all areas of the project within certain group, not just the cross-section. So I'm saying that what they're asking you to do is certify that all of the grading in the surrounding areas of the development, in the yards, in the open space, is as shown on the approved stormwater plans. Is that correct?
So there's a handful of issues being discussed. And to be honest, I think the applicant and us have really tried to make a good faith effort. I don't think that, I think we actually made a lot of progress in the last week, notwithstanding the fact that there's a few issues that we still want to iron out. For us, the big issue is the subparagraph 4EV, which talks about grading. It talks about that the grading and the grades shall be subject to the EOR. That's great. It doesn't talk about what material is being used under, to make those grades. We're not actually as interested in the engineer of record doing a lot of compaction testing across the whole site. We want to know that there's some understanding of the fill materials that are being used throughout the site. We want to know that the engineer of record is able to certify that the fill materials that are being used across any area of the site are suitable for the plan. That's what we're looking for. The specifications on the type of fill materials that are appropriate are called out. We just want to know that there was an engineer that had eyes on that enough to know anywhere on the site the fill materials are appropriate. And so that's one thing that, it's different than grading. Grading is what you can see at the surface and the final topography. So
In
we're
other words, there's no stumps buried, there's no tree limbs buried. He
Correct.
can
So-
inspect.
hang on a second.
Well, let him finish.
So that's one issue. The other about the fact of how final COC and what should a final COC cover. I think, we understand that the applicant, it's potential that they're finishing up right around, let's just say, December or January. The asphalt plants are shut down, and they don't want to be waiting for their final C of Os, and I get that. I mean, when we talk about construction vehicles, that's largely when the site's in massive construction. So we're just saying we want the final 2 C of Os held in abeyance until everything is done. You can have those houses built. You could be in those final stages of, final electrical inspections, final checks by the building department. What we're looking for is some level of assurance, something that tells us that before all the site work is done, we've got something that we're holding. If the applicant is saying, I really want to have the ability to get those final 2 C of Os and do the asphalt later, we'd like some other form of assurance. It is possible to negotiate a bond for a private of asphalt isn't put on, we've got something to assure that that can be done. We're not interested in forcing the applicant to bring construction vehicles on top of a finished grade. That's why the final two C of Os, at that point, all massive construction should be done. Site work's done, the buildings are constructed, we're just final touch-ups and vehicles coming on just to do any final inspection. So we're trying to reach that, and I think we're close. I think there are certain tools that we could use to get over the hump on some of these things.
I'm hearing two different things. I want to go back to the cuts and fills. Can they certify that the appropriate materials were used? What's, why not either amend the language in Roman numeral 5 to say that, or, because this just says, except the COC shall address cuts and fills across all areas of the project.
Doesn't sound like a
Well, to be clear on that, first, we've had that discussion on that specifically, and the only thing I would address on that is that's already addressed on our plan set. So that's nothing new. So again, it gets back to why we have kind of this in 4 or 5 different places. It's already specified in our plans the type of material that can be used on site if there is material that's brought in that isn't native material. What we're concerned about again is if this is, and this is where the conversation went this afternoon, doing the same level of inspection work outside of the roadway bed. So when we're talking about looking at the grades and the material, we have to do that anyway, so does the contractor in terms of the DEM permits that we already have in
But do
place.
you issue a certificate of conformance to the town that states everything was put in per plan?
In this case, that's what they're looking to have us do, and that's what we will do. It doesn't say it says in substantial conformance. So again, if a grade changed by 4 inches, but it slides towards the area that it was supposed to go to, that's substantial conformance. Same with material. We're not doing material testing on every single material that's brought there, to
I
the
don't
point
know.
we're not dropping,
It didn't sound like they were asking for testing, but they want to know generally that it was.
And
I
we believe
mean,
that's the language that's already written in there. So again, that's part of the confusion.
So I think there's 2 ways to solve the cut and fill issue. At the end, the staff wanted to ensure that there was some eyes on the cuts and the fills. I'm not necessarily interested in compaction testing. I think we just want to know that someone has eyes on the materials. And to us, we were going to address that within number 6, but if the idea is it's better to address within number 4, so you'll see that on page number 2.
Yep.
You'll see down E2, it says cuts and fills right in the middle of the page. It's possible for us to adjust that language and just say material for cuts and fills will be of natural site material, but remove the roadway subbase language. So essentially, they're willing to commit that they'll have eyes on the cuts and fill materials just within the roadway area. We're looking for some kind of conformance that the fill materials across the site are appropriate and consistent with the plan. And I'm not asking for compaction testing to verify that. I'm just asking that the engineer of record is in a position to know if they're using fill material, that we know that it met with the standards of their plan. I think that's what we're looking for.
So this
Can I
is,
just jump in? Mr. Guglielmo, you said that basically the materials are going to be adequate.
Yeah, I mean,
You can state that
yeah, this
on a
is
report.
a site
It sounds
that,
to me like that's what they
Right,
want. They
yeah.
want you to state on a report that the materials used for infills are adequate.
right, and this site, just so we're clear,
I don't
this,
see that that's a big
yeah,
issue.
this
I really don't.
site is, and we don't have an issue with that as long as we're talking about the material. We have an issue if we're talking about testing. That's, like I said, if
Well,
we
you're
had to
all
do
gonna put
compaction
your
testing
stamp of
around the
approval on
site.
it. You're not gonna lose your license over that. If you're gonna put your stamp of approval on it, that the infills were done with the materials, I don't see that that's an issue.
No, there's only an issue if we're asked to do, at a later point, compaction testing that wasn't done. So that's where.
Doug just said he doesn't
Yep.
really have an issue with the compacting.
but
I think that's
this
what
goes
can-
back to, we could have had this conversation before tonight, so, but I'm gonna make a suggestion, because it doesn't go where it was suggested, but we can put a sentence at the end of that cut and fill that say, for areas outside the roadway, that fill materials are suitable for the site.
Are you okay with that, Doug?
I think we're getting there. So I think that kind of language is what we're looking for.
I think that the way they.
I think I just want to make sure that that language gets some eyes on it, where we include the language that the EOR will certify that. I mean, I think that's where we're headed.
Mr. Guglielmo says that all materials in that area are sufficient.
Yeah,
That's what you're looking for.
I'm good with that. And so if we have
And I can't
in,
see that he wouldn't say that, because you just said you have to use
yeah,
So
the correct
4E2,
material.
little 2,
Yep.
at the end, we'll have another sentence that says, for areas outside the roadway, fill materials are suitable for the site.
I'm comfortable with that. Are you comfortable with that, Doug? How about the solicitor? She just said it isn't enforceable, so that's a legal issue. You have to hit the back of it.
You have
gotta
to
hold
yell,
the
David.
back button.
On top, Dave, yeah, right there.
I do have a comment on that while David's working on his mic. I'd say suitable for the site, but also consistent with the approved plan.
Fine,
Is
Yeah.
that okay?
yes.
All right, we're
Yeah,
down
and-
one. We
yeah.
have one more to go.
Yeah, I think we're good on that one.
Do you have anything to say, Mr. Smith?
Not on that. I want to talk about the asphalt.
Yeah, David doesn't need his mic if we reached agreement.
We got one done. Now we're at the asphalt. And Mr. Smith, you want to say something on the asphalt?
So Joel, I am sure that the developer intends on putting the top coat of asphalt on the whole project when it's done.
Correct.
And I'm sure that the developer is going to budget the money for the total cost of putting the asphalt on the job when it's done.
Correct.
So why can't we just think outside the box and do a bond for the total amount? Because you just told me they are going to do it, and they are going to put the money aside for it, and that would assure the town and the residents it's going to be done. It gets paved, it's done.
So
Then-
here's the problem with bonds. We haven't had one single bond released, or even get in front of this board for 3-4 months when we request for a bond to be released. This is a private infrastructure. It should be as simple as we put the top coat on and the bond's released. But it's just, that's been our experience, and
Let me ask our attorney, can we do a bond where staff can release it because it's a private project, so they wouldn't have to come back before the board if that was an agreement?
I don't think he's gonna we're not gonna post a bond.
Well, that's.
But I don't think you can ask for a bond either.
Well, it fulfills the town's.
But what other project for private infrastructure are you holding up COs on the top coat?
It's an idea. So
I-
it would
I
satisfy the-
appreciate that. If
You
we-
you already intended, you told me that they do have the money for it. They intend on doing it. So why not just do a
Because
bond, give it to the town, and they'll hold it. And Mr. Igliozzi said, you don't have to come back in front of us. The town engineer can inspect it, and it's done. And the staff, planning staff, can release your bond. Then it's done. And it's exactly what you want in the town, because you told me you intend on paving it, and you're going to budget the money for it, so there's no loss.
I understand that, but it's also a cost to the project, and it's a significant
So what
delay.
other assurance can you make that the
It's
final
gonna-
coat
this-
will be done?
The same assurance that any project that's been in front of this board,
Because I don't want
For a
to see the
top coat.
final coat go on before the
Correct.
project is complete, because the bond binder is there
yep,
to hold the heavy construction vehicles. If we can get to a point that it's almost built out before you get your CO, or it's all built out before you get those last 2 COs,
but here's the problem, those houses are sold by that point. Those houses are under contract,
do the closing.
and we can't do the closing for 4 months because we gotta wait for the top
I'm
coat.
not concerned about the final coating being down, because the homeowners that buy the houses are going to be
Correct.
not very happy.
And it's it's happened elsewhere, but there's nothing in place, and there is nothing in the regulations on this. That it's on the builder to do this. I think putting one thing after the other thing on this project is, okay, your house is under contract, we can't close till March, April, because this is closure and then getting on a schedule to get this top coat on. We haven't had this issue, this developer has not had this issue about not putting a top coat on in town, ever. So,
I got a question.
Go ahead.
I like Chuck's idea, first of all, my colleague over here. But, okay, say you don't want to take his idea. So you put the top on. Our building inspector goes out and the road's damaged, you guys gotta come back and fix it. And so you add more money to your project.
Right,
So can we put something in like that?
wait, but what is that? I'm not sure that has anything to do with anything.
I
No.
think,
That's
If
already,
you're gonna put the top coat on, and you think it's gonna stay good, all right? And it's been damaged, you guys have to refix it. You're gonna redo the whole.
but that would be a private issue,
Why?
because it's a
Because you
private
damaged the
roadway.
road from bringing those trucks on.
But that's our point, is we don't want to, we're trying to get it after the project's complete.
they don't want to bring the
They don't want
trucks on
that
the
risk.
final coat.
Because otherwise, we're going to say the town made us do this, and there's still construction trucks out there.
Solicitor, can we put something in writing that protects the town, that this will be completed? That's kind of what, I mean, I don't know.
If the
we're at an
applicant doesn't want
impasse
to post
here.
a bond, the only thing I can think about is a notice provision, where the applicant would notify the owners of the property that purchased the units, that the top coat is coming on later, and it's not a town road, and making some sort of notice, so that at the end of the day, you're not assuring the town, but you're notifying the individual owners.
With all due respect, that'll work out real well with the mortgage companies.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a good
thank
point.
you.
I forgot about
That's-
that.
I would
wasn't
But
thinking about that.
but yeah, there's got to be some way we can get there. I think that's, I don't know. I mean, in reality, what other thing can be done at that point to provide the town assurance? And that's what we almost need, a contingency. Yeah, every effort will be made if it does. I mean, what are we talking? What is the top coat worth? What does it cost? I have no idea. Hundreds,
yeah,
100,000?
100.
Is it?
100 something, more than.
Is it?
Yeah,
Can we-
more than that. We're
can we
talking, it's
put-
not a small amount,
So can we put that in a condition of approval? This one last item?
that the top coat be done
Yes.
within X amount of
Well,
6
depending-
months of the final.
Depending on the date.
Right.
So obviously, if the plants close, you could have an early winter, the plants could close in October.
Right.
We don't know.
Right. Right.
If we could put it in a condition of approval to give you some leeway and make sure you're going to, agree that you're going to put the
Yes.
finish coat. I believe you're going to put the finish coat.
Right. So what is that, what do you think that looks like? Is it, within a certain period of the
I-
project being done?
You still don't really have anything.
Great effort, at the earliest possible time at the project, not to exceed, I don't know, we think 6, 8
I mean,
months?
so let's keep in mind,
Staff feel on this.
so the tool of a condition of approval, I appreciate the thinking. The idea is that whether it's a condition of approval or not, the plans show that they owe us an asphalt coat on the top. So what we're looking for is some element of assurance, some element of leverage. And generally, what we have been utilizing here, it's private development, there's not a bond, we understand that. So it's the pacing of COs. They're saying, hey, we really need you to work with us on the final coat. I understand that. I do think that if all we're not saying you can't begin construction on those units. You could do all your site work. Usually, if you're down to last 2 units and you're building the houses, the site work's all done across the entire site. If you've already got those foundations in, the framing the houses, at this point, there is some vehicles coming back and forth. Now we're getting close to the C of O being given. So it'd be that rare moment where they really want to close on these last 2 houses, but it just hit winter season. And so I understand that could happen.
Those houses are under contract.
So, let me finish. Our concern is that our tools in the toolbox, whether there's a condition of approval or not, is they owe the final coat, but if all the COs are given, then the tool in our toolbox, it might be some form of cease and desist or indication that they have not worked within the subdivision regulations. We have projects where we've issued cease and desists, and unfortunately, they're not a tool that has yielded work on the ground. And I don't want to mix different projects. I'm just going to suggest we're looking for a tool that says before all the units are done, that we have some leverage on this specific project, that they will complete it as proposed. Now, the condition of approval, I appreciate it, but the idea is that's already understood to be
I
something they
understand.
have to
I
do.
Don't see the applicant not putting the finish coat of asphalt.
Yeah, and I tend to agree.
Don't.
I tend to agree with you, But also, we're looking for
You've got
some
everything
level of
else cleared up.
assurance.
You guys made a lot of headway. There was a
Right.
lot of
Yeah,
things to
no, I
study.
think we're very close here, and I think these are the important points. We want some level of assurance before basically, before the site work is done, we want to have some element of assurance.
Why did you pick 2 COs?
Joe thought that was an appropriate number. You can tell where we're heading with this. If you read number 6 all the way through.
Okay, here's my thought, and I'm sorry, I'm just thinking outside the box. Take it, I'm just trying to think outside the box.
A resolution, that's all we're trying to do.
1 CO, top of the asphalt's not down, proceeds from the sale are held by the town.
You
Can't do that?
can't do that. Can't do that.
Well, what is the town, what,
This is the problem, though. We're starting with you can't do anything. We're trying to,
yep, okay.
we've given a hell of a lot on this, with a lot of things that are not required at all in the first place.
I'm just
And I
trying-
think I gotta, I'm drawing the line at some point.
What sum of money could be put aside, just like an escrow, just to make sure they put the top coat down? Even
Well-
if it's just a
Well, we
percent?
asked that, she said no.
Well, we're
Well,
not
that's
gonna do a bond.
Bonds cost money.
Oh, I know, but escrow is,
Just escrow, put the money in the bank and interest.
But not to the, like, the developer's account. Not a town account.
Third-party escrow.
Third-party escrow that's interest-bearing for the cost of.
Who's the third party gonna hold, you get charged by an escrow agent.
Oh.
There's got to be a way.
I think there should be a contract with the town stating you're gonna complete this project. I
But
don't-
we have to complete the project.
You don't
Like,
have to put
what
the
have you done on
binder,
other
You
private
don't have to put the finished
road
coat, but
projects?
I don't know. Solicitor, what do you think on this? I'm gonna pick your brain with it, because we're at a standstill here.
Listen, bond's out of the question. The council's offering an escrow held by the client.
You know-
I don't know if that really works, but I don't know how far you can push this is my concern.
And I also, we have to think, and I appreciate the town wanting to protect the homeowners, but this is a private road, and it's a homeowners association.
Correct.
How far do we go to protect, it's the homeowners association, all of them, that are gonna have the recourse.
We're here.
If the top coat's not put down. And is any of this, or can it, or is it addressed in the documents that each homeowner is getting when they close on the house, that this is what they're buying, and that the roads are gonna be finished such that they have their own recourse, and the town's out of it?
Well, there's a homeowner's agreement, and then that'll include these units too. There's the documents.
But will it include anything about what's gonna be completed as far as the roadway? The same stuff that the
Well, I
town's
mean,
looking
those will
for?
be common elements owned by the association.
Right, but there's some obligation in the declaration that the builder is actually gonna construct these improvements
I
per plan.
haven't looked at it, but I would assume that that's in there.
Because the recourse, honestly, if this whole thing, Doug, if the top coat doesn't get put down,
Homeowners Association sues the developer,
right, and the town's not party to it.
correct?
Town,
The,
what's
the
the,
town is party to it because the town does have to ensure that the project is built according to plan. Unfortunately, we're looking for tools in the toolbox that actually help ensure that does get happen. So that's what we're looking for. I don't disagree with any of the points everyone's made about that there should be good faith idea that the developer will do this. I think it would be, really bad form if they didn't. But we're just looking for assurance. And I think we're trying to work with them in terms of, there shouldn't be a lot of construction vehicles on a site once we get to the point where the final 2 houses are fully built, all the site work's done, everything's framed, and we're just talking about getting close to, a final electrical inspection. This isn't heavy trucks coming on and off
I
the
just
site.
think, I'm thinking that if you hold 2 COs and the houses are sold, I mean, you're talking over $1 million that they cannot close on these houses unless this finish coat of asphalt
and
is
he could,
put down. I mean, you could close on most of them houses in that development before this finish coat goes down.
Correct, all of them.
Because I know that the applicant raises the storm drains after the binder coat. A lot of construction, they do not. They put the storm drains up, so when you're going down the binder coat, you hit that thing, and on this applicant actually puts it level, and then moves it up after. I know I don't know if he's doing it
above
at this one.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, that kind of gets back to the timing, is that sometimes there will be developers that will leave them up if it's the summer. But once the winter comes, you got to lower them down because you can't plow the roads if you don't, because you got manholes in the middle of the road. So, yeah, so there's all timing on these things. So it sounds great in principle, hey, just call up your paver and have them come out there next month, but that's not the way it normally works, especially if it's November. Now you got to kind of schedule, okay, can I get him out there first thing? Nope, he's already got people lined up. He can't pave it until March, April, May before he can get out there. So, but we do agree with Doug that, it should be an easy process. This is construction. It doesn't always work that way, and it's not going to be the last 2 units at the end of the cul-de-sac. Could be one random one in the middle that sells last. So we may not be able to logistically get just the trucks that just go in one direction and not touch any of the other roads. So there's logistic issues that happen.
So you envision this last coat is going down and the entire thing that's being built, you're not going to segment it all at
Yeah, and
once?
that's the best way to do it.
Yep, I got it, I got it.
On the binder course, that's different. We'll
I
do it
just
in
want to make
phases.
one other point too. It's not like he can't sell the units and then these buyers are waiting to close. They may have houses to sell, they have mortgage rates, and their specific performance comes into play. Next thing you know, now he's getting sued because he's not closing and he's blaming the town and he can't put his binder coat down because the asphalt plant's closed. I just think that's,
And we understand, we've, to be clear, we've worked with Doug and Joe a lot on this, and we understand the concern. We do. This goes on in every one of these developments, these private developments. We do commercial developments, the same thing, where, Wendy's goes in and the final pavement's not down, and, because they couldn't get it done by time that Wendy's need to open, or they would have, been in, the lease agreement would have been expired. So these happen all the time in private development, and there's got to be a way for private developers to work around them. I don't really believe the town should be involved in
Vote
it.
on this, 'cause we're not going anywhere now, we're just spinning the wheels. I think we should have a legal document stating that, in good faith, this developer is gonna put the final coat down. And if it's October or November, and the plants are closed, then you can do it when you're able to do it in an expeditious manner, whenever that can be. In the spring, it could rain for a month, you don't know. There's so many different things that can happen. But I just think we're stuck at something that,
Would you want it to say, the final coat
he's the
of,
solicitor.
final coat of
I want
asphalt?
him to be comfortable, I want Doug to be comfortable, because we're not comfortable right now.
Right, no, well, it looks like something like the final coat of asphalt will be put down as soon as weather and construction schedule permitting, or something like that.
I think that language is the best you're gonna get, if you're not gonna get a bond. That kind of document.
You can't get a bond on I've never heard of a bond on a private development. And I understand,
Eliminating financial assurance, which makes,
I understand holding up 2 homes on a CO that are already sold. And people are trying, because they sell these houses before they're even built. I can understand both sides. I just, we're not really supposed to be in the middle. We're in the middle here. I think this could be ironed out with a legal document. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
some kind of personal guarantee, I guess, I don't know. Getting a little,
I want staff to be comfortable too, because they've all worked hard on this. There was a lot of items on these papers. We're down to 1.
That's my suggestion.
I can't see the applicant not putting the final coat. I don't think anybody will ever buy a home off him again if he don't put the final coat.
But I remember Center in New England, that went 20 years without
Yeah,
a final coat.
but that was, well, like
It's a
you
private-
said,
private
if they go bankrupt, then that's, there it is. So I don't know.
some kind of personal assurance, I don't know. This
The
is
only thing
this
I could
unusual.
offer is that the condition that the top coat of asphalt will be put down as soon as weather and construction schedules permit.
Anybody else on the board have anything they'd like to add?
Gave my suggestion, I'd like to see some money held, as a good faith, and I think that's reasonable. Because I asked the attorney, and she said they are going to do it, and they do budget for it, so, okay. So your money's earning interest while it's sitting there, and then guarantees it's getting done. And you're going to do it anyway. You've already budgeted the dollar amount.
You hold the money, the town liens the money, or something?
I don't know how that would work, but every house, they must put a certain amount of money in every house to cover the cost of building the road, which they'll already have the drainage in, they'll have the binder in, they'll have the curbs in, the sidewalks in, so then it's just top coat. And for that portion of the top coat, just have the money in the bank with a lien on it or something, where they get an interest, but if they don't do it, then the town takes the money and gets it done. Because they're gonna do it, they told us many times they're gonna do it, so the money's gonna be there to be spent anyway. Just somehow
I have a question.
guarantee it, I don't know how, but
We'll let her, right, you're saying no to that?
No, we're not doing a bond.
you're gonna do it, you told me you're gonna do it.
I understand
So-
that. I don't know what the construction loan schedules look like. I'm not doing a bond in favor of the town. We have millions of dollars held up in bonds in this town for work that's been completed for years.
So could we just go back to paragraph 6? So you have 2 lines stricken at the beginning that deal with cuts and fills. If the proposal at this point is to keep those 2 lines stricken in favor of the additional language that you're adding on the previous paragraph 4.
On 4E,
And then all final landscaping and final asphalt will not be done until the project is fully completed.
so it'll,
And then that sentence would continue with, but shall be completed as soon as weather permits, not to exceed, 8 months.
so
Six-
it would say, all final landscaping shall be addressed in the third and final COC, so we can put the landscaping aside. And then final asphalt, I guess, final, whatever we're calling it, final coat of asphalt will be done as soon.
Well, upon completion, you're saying once the projects are complete, well, yeah, you
Yeah.
can't say fully complete because that's part of the project, so, okay. All right.
Just so I get clarity, is the only issue with providing the asphalt prior to the C of Os is if we happen to hit the perfect timing on the winter schedule? If it was the middle of the
Or
summer?
construction schedules.
But if it was the middle of the summer, winter wasn't the issue, the asphalt could be gotten anytime, is it impossible to arrange so that all the major site work is done? The houses are largely built, no large vehicles are coming on the site, and, we've scoped this out, we've known this is coming for months, and we get to the point where those last 2 houses are ready for a C of O, and we do the asphalt then.
And we call up the contractor and say, come tomorrow? No, that's not how it works.
Come, what do you mean, call up the
Come and
contractor?
do the asphalt tomorrow. They're out months.
But,
that-
so
this-
if
this
they're
is
out months,
such a-
you would be
these are-
scheduling the asphalt work
We
months in
wouldn't, we
advance.
couldn't schedule the asphalt because it's the way the house constructions works, everything's so tight. You can't say, be here, 2 months from now in a day if you're not ready. The construction vehicles could be on site, that's the problem.
So I think what the issue you're articulating is that the asphalt is a unique component that you can't schedule in coordination with the other elements. For asphalt is something that you have to set aside and do later.
Competing elements, roads.
Yep.
Municipalities, contracts, huge issues. I'll defer to my colleague at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, I
John,
mean,
who's not
even
saying-
the utilities, I mean, try dealing with National Grid or whatever
I have.
their name is now. So, you could have it ready, and then all of a sudden, National Grid doesn't come out for 2 more months. So it's again, trying to do this, and I think, you've made a comment multiple times about the applicant. I mean, he's going to put the final pavement down. He has worked in this town for 30-plus years, as have I.
Putting the final pavement.
This is, but, the dilemma with putting these enforcement type things is that, we don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now. So, to now be stuck and not be able to sell units because you can't get, for some reason, the pavement to go down, and they're just enforcement pieces that I don't believe the town should be in the middle of. This is a private development that, and on top of that, we've already gone above and beyond with these certificates of conformance. A firm that's been in business since 1988, along with a developer that's been in business just as long, that, we do what's right out there.
And this is going to be something, if I could ask staff, that's going to be consistent on all projects. This is not just this applicant. All projects are going to have the same,
Yeah, this is, what we have here is a very elaborate version of a certificate of conformance system that we've been putting into all projects. You'll see it in the New London Preserve project, which is 75 units, single-family dwellings. You'll see that there's language in that relating to seeking a certificate of conformance as it ties to building certificates of occupancy. So this approach is essentially what the town is using across the board. I mean, on this issue, I guess I just asked the applicant, what versions of assurance can you provide that the asphalt will go down other than the thought that it's a promise? What other assurances are available that you can think of?
This is the language I provided.
can you put it in writing?
Yeah, that's, I just said.
I mean, I don't know.
Code of asphalt.
I don't know how the rest of the board, John, you want to say something?
I just have one question. My concern is you're saying that you won't do the certificate of conformance for paving, but you will do it for the landscaping, right?
Yeah, because it's not,
The landscaping is more restrictive than paving, so I don't understand.
The landscaping out here is not.
Landscaping is like,
I
it's
know.
out in October, you're still paving in October, November.
Oh, sorry.
So
Yeah.
I'm just curious as to why the paving is an issue and not the landscaping.
I was told that it wouldn't be a problem once the project is complete. I don't,
Because if you can get your COC for landscaping, you can definitely get it for paving.
I don't think they're one and the same thing.
I know they're not. Landscaping is more restrictive. Landscaping, you shouldn't be planting after October. Your
Yeah,
paving
there's-
is usually mid-November, sometimes even into December.
Sure. I mean, for this project in particular, most of what's being provided for landscaping is grass. So, I mean, we would be able to provide anything that's needed in most of the areas. Again, if it was December and they had a closing, that usually is addressed in the closing documents for that individual unit, where, maybe we'd have to landscape around that unit once the spring hits. But most of the rest of the areas around the gutter lines or the drainage areas or, common type areas around would be able to be landscaped easily. The difference with the pavement is, again, around the timing, is if you put large trucks over it and you run over a berm with a large truck and you destroy that berm, the only way you're going to get that up is to rip up that whole section.
You're also ruining the landscaping when you do
That's
that,
a
too.
lot easier to fix than it is to cut a section of pavement and repave it.
Easier to schedule,
That may
in
be
my
so,
opinion,
yes.
because they have
No, I
landscapers
get
that
that.
exclusively work for them, as every other developer does. They pick up the phone and say, hey, I want this done today. They're there today or tomorrow. And I understand the scheduling part on the asphalt. So, I don't know.
But John just brought something up that Greg was just talking about too, is that you say, December, you close on it, the bank, the mortgage company wants a landscaping done, you've already had a frost, you tell them, we're gonna do it in May. The bank holds a certain amount of money. The same thing that we want to do at the town. Same as the bank. The bank holds the money until you come in May, you do the shrubs, you do the lawn, you do the final pavers, because it's December. In May, the bank releases the rest of the money.
I think we're at an impasse here. I don't see this, I'm ready for a motion. That's what I'm ready for. I don't think we're getting anywhere. Me personally, I think the developer's gonna put the finish coat, but, I mean, I can't give them the town a bond to say that, so, I think we gotta make a motion.
I'm still kind of stuck on the fact that this is a homeowners association that has control of this roadway, and I know that it's the town's responsibility to make sure that it gets built per plan to the best of its ability. But why does, I just don't understand why this board should be that overly concerned. The homeowners buy these units at their own peril. The other homeowners are already in there. If this road doesn't get finished, they have recourse, just like at Center New England.
We don't control this homeowners association.
I'm sorry?
And we don't control this as an established, very well established homeowners.
Right, but as you transition and sell units, they're going in there. Or as he starts, he's gonna start paying his fees.
Correct.
So the question is, if this top coat doesn't go down, what liability is there to the town of Coventry that we should be beating ourselves up over this issue? I don't see any. I understand we're making a good faith effort, but the liability, it's the homeowners association and the residents in that subdivision that are gonna bear the brunt of it not getting paved or getting paved, that are gonna have to pay the legal fees and chase for the money, and if they don't have it, then it's a special assessment. The town is not on the hook for one thing. I can see where we post bonds for public roadways that the town then accepts once the subdivision's filed, but we're not accepting any responsibility whatsoever for this. Is that pretty much accurate?
I'm ready for a motion. Are you ready to make a motion?
I mean, I could take a stab at it.
I don't have a knife. but get on my
I don't
ground.
want to, I feel like I'm in a very awkward position. I see staff's point of what they're trying
I
to
do
do.
too. I think-
And I also see the developer's point, but if this plan and the units and everything else we approved to date is accurate and it gets built per plan, and the town is not on the hook for any of this liability if it doesn't get covered, I don't have my other packet in front of me, so again, I have to be refreshed as far as what the actual matter before us is. I remember this was the sticking point. Yeah, so this is basically,
Final plan.
do we have any other conditions of approval other than this 3-page with the
No, I
with the
think that
edits?
this, the conditions of approval that you're looking at represent all of the conditions that we would have at a staff level. The other pieces of a final plan decision are really perfunctory. It would just be, elements of establishing that the decision is relevant to this project. We all understand that based on the prelim plan, all those parameters are in there. So this is really, these 3 pages of conditions are the only component that I think are subject to the board's review and consideration.
And I apologize, I think this was a few meetings back. I do not have my packet from the original.
Are you looking for just to understand, like, the title of the
Well, if I was to
project?
make a motion and just.
Yeah, I think
flip
off of the
through-
agenda, you could go to the last page of the agenda, and you'd have the ability to reference the applicant,
Okay.
the project information. For example, it's actually split between pages 3 and 4. At the very top of 3, or the very bottom of 3, you'll see
Yep.
Highlands at Hopkins Hill.
Yep, 8.4. So this is the final plan.
This is,
So, okay, so this would be pretty simple. Yeah, sure. I would like to make a motion that we approve the final plan for the major land development owner applicant D2 Homes, Inc., portion of Assessors Plat 13, Lot 22, in the Business Park Zone, Dante Boulevard, where the applicant is proposed to develop 66 detached, single-family condominium units on the vacant portion of the subject parcel, along with internal roadways and associated site amenities. There's public water and sewer connections available and are anticipated. The approval is subject to what we were handed tonight, which is 3 pages labeled Conditions of Approval, with the amendments that we discussed, which would be primarily dealing with the cuts and fill language that's going to be added to paragraph 4, and then amending that sentence that's shown on page 3, in between the two yellow highlights, as the applicant's attorney stated, leaving the landscape requirement in there as part of the COC, but the asphalt would not be installed, or actually will be installed, when all the houses are completed and weather permits, as soon as weather permits.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second.
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Price. I have a motion by Mr. Colonian. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Best I could do.
We lost video.
I've been working with.
Okay. 7.1. Westwood Estates reconfiguration plan, public hearing, master plan, major land development with associated zone change. Owner applicant, Hometown America Communities LLC, AP 43, Lot 35, 35.001, AP 35, Lot 32.001, AP 44, Lots 4, 5, and 6, zone planning development with residential mobile home district. 49 and 64 Reservoir Road. Applicant has revised their plan from an initial subdivision in proposing to increase the number of mobile home sites within 35 units through a combination of creations of new fill sites and existing roads, along with 3 new private roads within the property. The proposal includes corresponding zone change application will be subject to recommendation by Planning Commission and ultimately decided by the Town Council. Mr. Cronin.
Mr.
Name and
Chairman.
address, please.
Thomas Cronin, Nolan Bernero Cronin Farrar, 1070 Main Street, Coventry, Rhode Island, for the owner and applicant. As this board is aware, I'm here to request a continuance of this matter. Both the master plan and recommendation of council. We've received quite a bit of feedback from the residents and the staff on this matter. We're going to adjust our request for the ordinance change before the town council. I need to get that read by the town council for first reading and referred back to planning before we can proceed with a public hearing on master plan and recommendation to council. So to ask that this matter be continued to the next date of the planning board schedule.
Okay, I know on the website it says no public comment, but on our agenda it says public comment. So I'm going to take public comment, if you don't mind. You can write down on your yellow pad, like you did last month, because there's quite a few people. If you could just keep it limited, because nothing's really changed. Staff, if you want to jump in, nothing's really changed. So the applicant is continuing to October 22nd, same time, same place. Willing to take comment, and the applicant will write down, but please, don't be repetitious. We've heard everything. We took all your notes, all your emails are on record. So I'm going to start with public comment, and we're going to make it very short, please, tonight. Come on
Chair,
up,
if you don't
sir.
mind, may I make just
Yeah,
an
can
announcement?
just let our director make a quick
Thanks,
statement,
John, I
please?
appreciate it. Just as an informational update for all the folks that are here for the Westwood Estates matter, I want folks to know, first off, if you're online, We're having technical difficulties. That doesn't invalidate the meeting. I believe audio is still working for those on Zoom, but we're going to still proceed with the meeting. It does state on the agenda for tonight that we're not going to have any substantive discussions of the matter. We can still accept public comments, but I'd ask, please understand that the board is limited in getting in a back and forth on the substance. The applicant has asked for a continuance. I know that that's not what the group here wanted to hear, but that is their right. But we will still hear comments. And, but just understand that the applicant nor the board can get into a back and forth at a substantive level. We're here to listen. The next point is that you'll find good information on the town's website. If you just go to the planning department page, at the top, there's links for meeting materials. There's a meeting for tonight. There is new application materials. There is a staff report on the project as it stands today. The applicant is suggesting they're going to make amendments. And then when this comes back in front of the next meeting, and write this date down, the next regular meeting of the Planning Commission is October 22nd. As it comes back, I ask everyone to, again, check the website. Whatever changes the applicant has made will be addressed on the website, and it will be addressed in the new staff report, so that information will be available. So you'll understand where things stand now by going to today's date of the meeting materials, and you'll understand where things are headed in the future by going to the October 22nd date of meeting materials. So I'm just trying to make sure there's good information about it, and I also invite anybody that has questions about the process. We've talked with a number of you. You're welcome to stop in. You're welcome to email me. But at this point, I think we're ready just to hear any additional concerns that people wish to make. The applicant's listening. We just can't get into a detailed back and forth. I hope that makes sense to folks.
Okay, and if I can just add to that, because the applicant has not made a presentation, this board cannot make any comments. We'll take all your statements, very, very concerned. We will put them in the file. We've done that last month, so nothing's really changed. Just try to make it brief, and everything you said last time, if you don't have anything new to say, it's all on the record from last month. So thank you very much. I appreciate you all coming. We're taking this application very serious, like we do every application. So come on up, sir. Your first name and address, please.
Jonathan Longo, 21 Torch Lane. What I'd like to just throw out there to you is, in 2002, Westwood Estates was granted 96 apartment units. Since 2002, they've added a substantial number of mobile homes. I propose that these 96 units of apartments be compared with every mobile home that's been reinstalled, like a replacement, or that has been put in, be deducted from those apartments, bringing the number of apartments they're allowed down. They keep using this and hanging over our head that if they don't get to do this plan, that they're going to put in these 96 apartments. But with the new density since 2002, there's no room for it. We have one possible site that they could do it, but they would have to put a 10-story building in to do it. There wouldn't be enough room for parking otherwise. So what I propose is that go ahead and, keep their 96 apartment thing, but deduct every mobile home that's either been replaced or moved in since 2002, cutting down the number of apartments allowed. Also, the mobile home park has been divided into 4 sections. It's still the same mobile home park, they just drew imaginary lines. I don't know how that's possible. That was done back in the same era of 2000, but I think that should be investigated, because that gives them, they just keep going to other mobile home parks and say, are you going to put the 20 units that are allowed? Okay, we'll take them. And they just keep jamming more in us. So the way they've got it divided, they can end up with like 800 units in there, 200 per unit, because the mobile home park is only allowed 200 units. So what they've done, divided it into 4, and that leaves them another 200 to put in. We're already way overcrowded, especially where, like, my house is parallel to the street, so I have a quarter acre. But most people are in, next to each other real tight, like 30 feet away from each other, and I don't want to live like that. So if we keep letting them put more in and more in, it's going to end up being chicken coops ghetto. The problem with it is being that if they keep hanging the 96 apartments over us, then let's address that. But we don't seem to be getting anywhere with them because they just keep doing continuances. And I guess what they're hoping is to thin out the crowd, but we're not going to give up. You know, and we're not going to be bullied by the management. That's all I have for you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side like to come up? Right here in the second row, and I'll get to you next, sir.
Got my pen, so I'm going to be using my phone.
Name and
Sorry.
address, please.
Deborah Fisher, 12 Airport Road, Coventry, obviously. So I have just a couple of things that I wanted to bring up because I didn't address them last time, but I'm right on the main road of Airport Road, which is Reservoir to Airport. There's a massive amount of traffic, huge trucks going up and down, starting at 6:30 in the morning, and now we have the buses there as well. So it's a lot of traffic already on the road. If you add in even more houses and even more people, then you're talking maybe another 200 cars going up and down there as well. And the road is not wide enough. When you are at certain parts of the road, you'll see a bus pull over in order to let one of the big trucks by. So the road in some places it's fine, but in most of the road, it's not wide enough for the amount of traffic we have going through there. The second thing I have to say is talking about the green space, because they do keep saying about putting in an apartment building instead, and we have very little green space already, but the amount that we do have is what attracted me to the park initially. And based on that conversation that was for that previous development, is our road public or is it private? Because I keep getting told different things. One by Mike Baird, one by when I called the town, one by when I had to call the police about Mike Baird. So I would like to see that clarified before this goes forward. Thank
very
you.
much. Come on up, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
I'm Kevin Emmett from 20 Torch Lane, and I'm concerned with the new plans I've seen. I'm not sure the people who are drawing them are familiar with the area, because behind, they have a new street going in behind, well, not a new street, they want to extend one of the streets behind my house, and they've got a drawing with a cul-de-sac and a few houses at the end of it. There's 40 feet between my backyard and a giant berm the adjacent property owner has built, like a 12-foot berm of boulders and dirt, and there's 40 feet between my shed and that, and they want to put a road there, a cul-de-sac no less. I can't imagine a cul-de-sac and a house on the side of it would be less than 40 feet of space. Even the skinniest homes there are 12 feet wide, you know what I mean? So and that road that they're showing drawing, it shifts one lane. It goes straight and then half of it, you know what I mean, road ends, and then the next part is one lane over where they want to add it. I'm concerned that these plans are kind of slapped together and not really well thought out, especially like I said, 40 feet between the berm. I don't know if there's like a dispute with the property, how much Westwood owns and how much whoever owns behind it, but there's not the space that they're saying they own is not there. It's just not there, so I'd like just to note that, you know what I mean? And thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Come on up. Name and address.
Kathy Phillips, 9 Milton Lane, Coventry. I was told, I don't know if I should say hearsay, but I was told that there is a dispute between the property that Mike Beard owns and Hometown America, because I think Mike Beard has encroached on their property line, so I think that might be part of the problem. I just wanted to add that for a point of knowledge.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side of the room? Seeing none, anybody like to come up on this side? Come on up, Senator.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you. Leonidas Raptakis, 2080 New Snake Hill Road, Coventry. And we have, as,
all right. No, name and address, please.
I'll repeat it. It's
3 Hilltop.
Leonidas Raptakis, Leonidas Raptakis, 2080 New Snake Hill Road. also State Senator, District 33.
Councilwoman, District 2, Elisa Capaldi. Do you want to spell it? Just kidding. 19 Audubon Lane, Hope.
State Rep George Nardone, District 28, 50 Fieldstone Drive in Coventry.
Mr. Chairman, as you can see, that many of us have concerns when you have a state senator, a state rep, and a member of the town council. We've been watching what's happening here the last couple months, and we are concerned, number one, for the residents. We've had many phone calls. I know there's a lot of issues between Hometown America, and what disturbs me a lot is the last couple meetings where that Hometown America should also respect the residents. I watched some of the video, wasn't happy with a lot of the video. We've contacted also DBR, looking at the rules and regulations on mobile manufacturing homes, I think section 16, and we are here to assist the Planning Commission exactly as we go down the path of helping the residents. Most important, we want to make sure that none of the current state statutes are violated as Hometown America tries to propose many changes in front of this commission. So we are aware of what is happening, and we will be available to answer any other questions or to assist the Planning Commission as we move forward.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Anything you need on the state level, laws, et cetera, just contact me. I represent a large portion of just about every person in that neighborhood, so, we're here to be their voice. I'm here to be more informed. Lucy CC'd me in an email, so this is the first time I'm here looking into this. So, thanks.
Thank you, Red.
I'm going to abstain because you guys will be coming in front of me, so I cannot speak at this juncture.
We won't be coming in front of you, but the
Well, yeah,
application
right.
may come in front of you.
May. So I still can't talk right now.
Mr. Chairman, I also want to make a comment that I think that the Hometown America should also sit down and listen and try to compromise with the residents. There's been a lot of back and forth, and my father used to say, you get more with honey than vinegar. So at this point, it looks like Hometown America is trying to use the vinegar approach, but I think we can find some common ground. But again, with your help, with the Planning Commission reviewing a lot of the information, I read the staff report, and on page 11 or 12, again, there's recommendations that the staff, again, does not agree with some of the proposals of Hometown America, but we will be available. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sir, you had your hand up? Come on up.
Good evening. My name is Paul Wolf. I live at 1 Lisa's Way, Coventry, Rhode Island. I'm actually new to Coventry. Paul Wolf, 1 Lisa's Way, Coventry, Rhode Island. I'm new to Coventry. I'm a transplant from Cranston. This is taken right from the Hometown Westwood Estates website. Stay home and enjoy serene nature and an easy pace of life from your porch. Picture your family in a beautiful home surrounded by nature, forest, wildlife, and the natural beauty of Rhode Island. A full mile of gorgeous wooded riverfront. This is what attracted me to Westwood Estates and Coventry, Rhode Island. More units will only take away from the country setting that sold many of us on moving here. The majority of residents are older and retired, even elderly. Lots of license plates say veteran. A U.S. flag flies proudly from almost every home. We love it just the way it is. More units means more people, more traffic, more trash. The trash facility is already overwhelmed. There is abundant wildlife in the park. Too much precious land in Rhode Island has already been cleared. We all see the solar farms on Route 95. Sandra Circle cul-de-sac is being considered for 5 units. Those 5 backyards will be right up against the gravel pit and asphalt plant. It's very loud. I can hear it from my house. A front-end loader works all day with the backup alarm. Removing all those trees will make that even louder, never mind having new units right next to it, basically living in a gravel pit. There's a rec field right next to the nature trail and pond. This field is enjoyed by many residents for exercising their dogs, tossing a ball, or simply reading a book on a blanket. And the plans call for adding 2 units on this popular field. It is sad to see open space and wooded space being taken away from your residents and abundant wildlife just to cram in more homes. And this is interesting, I just thought of this the other day. It's important to note that I have pictures of a spotted bog turtle and an eastern box turtle seen on the property. They are protected both by the state of Rhode Island. So it's important to protect our open space and wooded space of our beloved Coventry, because once it's gone, it's gone. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side? Seeing none? Anybody on Zoom? Oh, we don't have it.
If there are folks on Zoom that may not be able to enter the chat, actually, it's unclear to us if there are any participants on Zoom right now, but if there are folks on Zoom that are picking up just audio, just know that there will be opportunities to provide additional comment on this at the next available Planning Commission meeting, October 22nd.
Okay.
Do we need a motion to continue?
Yep. You have anything to say, Tom?
No, just coming up, hopefully.
the next applicant.
No, I'm hoping to get the vote on the motion.
Motion to continue.
We're going to do a motion to continue.
Yeah, we'll do a motion to continue.
I'll make a motion to continue to the next October 22nd.
Yes.
October 22nd meeting, 6:30, right here.
And the public hearing.
And the public hearing.
And I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for coming out.
Let's get it done.
All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break. We're going to take a 5-minute break so the room can clear out. We all set? Chuck, you're recusing yourself, right? Okay, this next ADU, Mr. Smith will be recusing himself on this project. It's Hat Singh Bond ADU, public hearing, accessory dwelling unit with associate dimensional variance, owner applicant Nancy A. Hatzig, revocable trust, AP 302, Lot 17, Zone RR5, rural residential, address 655 Narrow Lane. Applicant proposes to construct a 1,315 square foot, 26 by 5 by 32 by 5, one-bedroom accessory dwelling unit on a 32-acre subject parcel, which will serve as a multi-purpose seasonal use structure. Applicant seeks a dimensional variance for maximum unit size, as the proposed structure will exceed the maximum allowable floor area requirement. ADUs at this are not allowed by right shall utilize the Unified Development Review process and must be heard by the Planning Commission that will also do the zoning. Name and address, please.
Nancy Arnold Hartzig, 655 Narrow Lane Green. So as you stated, we are looking to do a one-bedroom ADU on our property. It's a 32-acre property. This ADU would be placed towards the bottom of the property versus the primary residence. We're specifically asking for a dimensional variance on this ADU because of the unique characteristics of the property. As you can see in the staff report, there is a photograph of the lot, and the house, the primary residence, is at Narrow Lane, at the main road, whereas the ADU that we would like to build is down at the pond, which is the pond is 1,000 feet from Narrow Lane. The house is at, the primary residence is at the top at Narrow Lane. The ADU we're putting down at the bottom. The reason for doing this is because we want to be able to use the pond, and it is an inconvenience to have to walk or drive up the hill the 1,000 feet every time you need to go get something to use at the pond, food, boating equipment, etc. It would be an improvement to be able to have a place closer to the pond in order to be able to use the pond recreationally. So that's the main request that we have. There were some questions from the technical committee earlier last week about road access. You should have the site plan in front of you. That plan actually just got DEM approval this past Monday. So I've also submitted that to Dennis. On that site plan, there is, okay, and it is showing here now, there is a South Tote Road, not to be confused with the one that just says Tote Road on it. The South Tote Road is on the, close to the south border of the lot. It comes into the south field, and then it will connect to where the ADU is going to be placed. It's an existing dirt and gravel road. We've recently removed trees from that road for access by heavy equipment that will be needed to build the structure. There is no asphalt involved.
So you read one of the conditions of approval.
So it will be gravel, yes. Let's see, so yes, that is there. I think those are the two main things. We will, yes, so we have a separate driveway that is large enough, given the tree removal, that we should be able to get any emergency vehicles down through there, as well as any building vehicles. There was a request for the fire district to have a review of that anytime. He's welcome to come by and see that. there was a question on the dry well that has been added into this site plan, and it's in the details on page 2 of the current plan that you have. So I believe that's been answered, as well as the details on the soil erosion control.
The dry well is for the roof runoff drainage.
Correct.
And I'll note, if the dry well is a cost consideration, there are other cheaper considerations I know the engineer would accept for maintaining the roof runoff drainage. We're not worried that the water will not leave this site. You will certainly have enough space around it. There's a handful of solutions there if cost consideration is an issue. Happy to talk further.
Okay, thank you.
You took the words out of my mouth. There's 32 acres here. I think you can keep the water on your site. I know you want to make it like a cabin look.
Right,
And
it's
to
like a barn.
To put a roof runoff drainage, you have to put gutters to capture the water. So you might want to think about just capturing and talking with staff, because I know it's not going to look as good with gutters. I don't think the state envisions these ADUs being so hard to do, but unfortunately, it's like building another home. And this is because you're over the square footage for a one-bedroom, which is pretty limited. I mean, maybe they can look into raising those numbers up, because even a two-bedroom is 1,250 square feet, very small. And the cost to build a 1,250 square foot or a bigger house are pretty close to the same. So, some of the things that
And-
I'm looking at, these are our first ADUs that have come in
Yeah.
front of us. But,
And given that the ADU is so far away from the primary residence and there is no other structure in sight.
Right.
It would not look odd. It is less than the 60% of the primary dwelling.
I have
that
no
was-
issues with this project. I'm going to ask my board. Does anybody else have any issues?
I have some questions.
Go ahead,
Just a
Rick.
couple questions. So, is the size of this unit mainly because you're adding the component to store the boating equipment and things like that, as well as the one-bedroom?
We want it to be a multi-use structure.
The cabin.
Yeah.
So it will be in the winter, we will store paddleboards, kayaks, other boating equipment
But there'll
there.
still be an occupant there?
No. Occupancy would be primarily in the summer. We have family that all lives out of state, so we would have family come to visit.
And my follow-up to that was, this won't be a Airbnb short-term
No,
rental
no,
type
no.
thing?
No.
Okay, and I know, but I just wanted to make sure I got it on the record. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else?
I just had one question.
Go ahead.
I just had one question, more out of curiosity than anything. Are you going to try to put in another well, or how were you going to get?
There is a well going in, it's on the plan, yes.
Okay.
All set? Thanks. Is that it for your presentation? It is a public hearing, so I'm going to open up public hearing. And then if there's nobody in any conflict, then we'll close it, and then we'll make a motion.
Okay.
Question are we just making a motion on the variance?
Vote, first the variance, then the.
So we are doing the project also?
And keep in mind, David, this is the first time this board is seeing an ADU.
That's why I'm asking.
The ADU itself, the code, our zoning code dictates that an ADU that triggers a variance comes before the board as unified development, and state law does provide that provision. The truth is that the ADU itself is a building permit authority. It's not like the ADU triggers a DPR or anything else. So I think that, in my view, the board may only be voting once on the variance, but if there's an importance about voting secondly to authorize the applicant to proceed to building permit, we could consider something along those lines. I'll defer to you, and we can consider when we get there.
Vote on the variance, I know this is a unique situation, but vote on the variance independently first, because theoretically that has to go first in the unified development. And then we'll do if this was a true unified development plan.
We'll vote on the
you'd
ADU.
You'd have to vote on the preliminary plan, but we don't have that here. But I would vote on the variance and then.
A motion on the ADU. Okay, sounds good. Okay, I'll have a motion to open up public hearing.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Clooney, and I have a second. Second by Mr. Reyes. All those in favor? Aye. All right, public hearing is now open. Anybody would like to come up and speak for or against this project? Seeing none. Anybody on Zoom? Raise their hand. We don't have that, right? I'm just so used to saying. So you want to make your spiel on Zoom?
Yeah, for folks on Zoom, there is perhaps a technical difficulty, but at the end of the day, Zoom is as a courtesy we offer. It does not invalidate us moving forward with the meeting or the hearing. And the last I think we checked, we did not have any visitors on Zoom at the moment.
Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing. I have a motion by Mr. Reyes, I have a second. Second by Mr. Price. All those in favor?
Aye.
Actually, was there a hand up on Zoom that someone's saying?
It says Sarah Morgan raised her hand.
Oh, okay. If someone raised their hand, Dennis, do you think you can let someone in for audio purposes? Sarah, if you're
Okay.
still on, you're being let in. You can unmute yourself and provide a public comment if you'd like. This is for the Hartzig Barn ADU.
I'm sorry, I'm not here for that particular thing, but I heard the gentleman say he didn't know if anybody was on Zoom, and I wanted everyone to know that we're here.
Okay,
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Ms. Morgan. We're glad that you're listening. I appreciate that check-in. But we'll keep that in mind. Are there any comments on this project from any folks in Zoom? Raise your hand through the Zoom portal.
I have a motion by Mr. Reyes, I have a second by Mr. Price. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a favorable motion to approve the variance. I'm sorry, I lost my spot here. For the accessory dwelling unit with the dimensional variance assessors plat 302, lot 17 in the RR5 district, the owner applicant being Nancy A. Hartzig Revocable Trust at 655 Narrow Lane, where the applicant is proposed to construct a 1,315 square foot, 26.5 by 32.5 one-bedroom accessory dwelling unit on the existing 32-acre subject parcel to be used as a multi-purpose seasonal use structure.
Just, I would incorporate.
And I'd like to
the
incorporate
findings of fact
the findings of
towards
fact
our
and
variance.
yep, I'm sorry, the findings of fact and the staff report for
As
this
well as the
application.
conditions of approval, please.
And the conditions of approval.
Okay, I have a motion for the variance. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Reyes. Motion was done by Mr. Colonian. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now I'm entertain a motion for the ADU.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we allow the ADO to proceed to building permit.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Colonian. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Burke. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck. Can you grab Mr. Smith, please? Okay, next on our agenda, 8.2 is I'm going to mess this up. Marinaro, thank you. Should know that, marinara sauce, right? ADU, public hearing, accessory dwelling unit with associated dimensional variance, owner applicant Lisa Marinaro, AP 310, Lot 101, Zone RR5, rural residential. 241 Richardson Road. Applicant proposes to expand and convert an existing shed in the front yard into a 1,024 square foot, 16 by 44, one-bedroom accessory dwelling unit, ADU, on their 26,500 square foot subject parcel. Applicant seeks a dimensional variance as an ADU will be placed in the front yard. The ADU will also exceed the maximum allowable floor area and height requirements. ADUs that are not right and shall utilize unified development process should be presented in front of the planning board per zoning code.
Good evening, Thomas Cronin, Nolan Bernero, Cronin Farrar, 1070 Main Street, for the owner and applicant. With me here tonight is Ms. Mariano and Sam Swarsa from Coventry Survey, who did the site design. So we have slightly less than 32 acres. I mean,
Yes.
That's quite a luxury.
Yes.
We have a single-family dwelling with an ADU proposed on .064 acres. Richardson Road is off Hockney Hill Road, near Quidnick Reservoir. Some of the homes on Richardson Road are on the waterfront, but 241 Richardson is not across the street. The neighborhood is 100% residential. In nature, all the surrounding properties are residential. There's less than full-size streets in this neighborhood. It's compact in nature. The existing single-family home is a little over 1,200 square feet. It's 2 stories with 3 bedrooms. It's built on the high point of the lot on the northern portion of the lot. The lot itself is a pre-existing non-conforming lot of record. The unusual thing about the lot is that it has frontage on Richardson Road on the northern boundary of the lot, and it also has frontage on Richardson Road on the southern boundary of the lot. Richardson is a loop road, and in this case, our lot hits it coming and going. So there's frontage on the northern end and frontage on the southern end. The existing home is on the northern end, if we keep it all. The current driveway is from the southern boundary. There's an existing cesspool behind the existing home on the northern portion of the property. There's a shed, 16 by 20, adjacent to the driveway on the eastern portion of the lot. The proposal is to construct an ADU on the property by improving and expanding the existing shed. A 24 by 16 addition is proposed. The addition proposed is 2 stories. The existing shed is 1 story, will remain 1 story. The existing cesspool will be abandoned, and a new modern OWTS system will be installed to service both the original home and the ADU. The existing well on the western boundary of the property will service the existing home and the ADU. There's a proposal to adjust the existing driveway entrance to be reoriented to a 90-degree angle on the southern boundary. The driveway will be shared, single entrance to the property. Other than the entrance to the driveway, the remaining portions of the driveway will remain the same. And the driveway and parking area serve both homes. So as the chairman mentioned, 3 variances are required. Our town ordinances prohibit an ADU in the front yard. In this case, the front yard has been determined to be on the southern boundary because that's where the driveway is, but it could just as easily be the northern boundary. I don't think we have a lot of options that way, but at any rate, the existing house to the northern boundary is a small area that's on a steep slope and not suitable for construction of an ADU. The second one is the height of the ADU. The proposed height is 23 feet, where 20 feet is allowed. So the 20 feet is figured from the height of the principal existing residence. The principal existing residence is a modest size home. It's 1,200 square feet. Although it is 2 stories, it's not anywhere near our 35 feet height limit in the town of Coventry, it's only 20 feet, and that's the restriction applied here. So both the existing home and the proposed ADU are modest in size. The existing home just over 1,200 square feet, and the ADU just over 1,000 square feet. The height is because of some of the unusual construction being used here. The existing shed is built on concrete pillars, and if you look in the plans, you see that the remainder of the home is also going to be built on concrete pillars. So no basement, there's no grading around the house, and so the only storage would be in that 388 square feet second story of the home. So that it's just an unusual, your shed is constructed in an unusual manner, and the addition will be match that construction. The perspective of the home from the entrance on Richardson Road, I have to be careful with my words because Richardson's like on both sides, but from the driveway side, what we're calling the front for purposes of tonight's hearing, you're downgrade from the existing home. So as you looked up the hill to where the existing home is, it's unlikely that you'd be able to discern that the ADU is 3 feet higher than the existing home, and it wouldn't have, that impression on you because everything is downgrade from the existing home to the entrance to the driveway. And then the third variance we're seeking is the size of the footprint. And as these things happen, I've already discussed it a little bit, but the modest size of the original home and the modest size of the ADU don't leave much room here for reduction or to meet the standard. Again, the modest size of the original home is the set point. We work off of that, and because it's not a large home, you end up with a very small under 800 square foot possibility, without a variance, and that's not going to be a useful footprint. So we're asking for additional room to that, just over 1,000 square feet. Again, from the driveway, from the Richardson Road as it passes the driveway from that entry point, the home's being configured so the 16-foot wide side of the ADU will face the home. So visually, it won't be as wide as the original existing home. It will appear smaller because it's built on a 90-degree angle to the existing home. So the front of the existing home will be unmistakable as the larger structure and as the primary home. So there's not a lot here. I mean, this is an ADU for the son of the owner and applicant who lives in her home right now. He's branching out down the driveway. We're trying to give him some adequate space and stay close to the regulations while asking for some very practical variances. So that's it for me. That's it from me today.
So there really isn't a backyard to put this in?
There is not.
Through the chair, I would define this lot as having two fronts.
Yeah.
Two front yards, no backyard. That's worthy of consideration.
Does anybody on the board have any questions for the applicant on this?
I apologize.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm ready. I just.
Before I open up
Yeah,
public hearing, I
sure.
just want to hear from the board, and then we'll discuss what the public has to say.
Okay.
I don't have any questions at this time, but I have some concerns, but I'd rather hear from the public first.
Okay. All right. I'm going to open up public hearing.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion to open up public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open public hearing.
Motion by Mr. Burke, second by Mr. Reyes. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, anybody in the room would like to speak? Come on up, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Jeff Archambault, Archambault, 229 Richardson Road. So we live adjacent to this proposed structure. And even though it might be 16 feet perspective from the road, from our perspective on the side of our house, it's going to be 44 feet and 23 feet high. And all the houses in this area were former summer houses, and they've been converted, so they're all relatively small houses. And putting a house right here is going to be like plopping a full-size house right next to our house. And we've been here 40 years. We're used to the rural atmosphere of the neighborhood, and this is going to totally alter that. The planning report says that there's a landscape buffer between this and our house, and there isn't. I mean, I can show you, you can see the attached picture there, the view from our house, and that's just the existing structure.
Did you say before the meeting you had one of these for everybody?
Oh, yeah.
As long as you got them. So yeah, he's got one now, so you can go the other way. You should start with the chairman, 3 more. Yeah.
I'll get one. Thank you, sir. I'm assuming this is the shed we're looking at,
Yeah.
that they're going to
right.
add on to.
And it's going to be added on to the left.
And
You
this
know,
is your
more than-
porch?
Yes. And so I think a structure that's 44 feet long and 23 feet high isn't an ADU, it's a full-sized house.
Okay.
I'm going to take everybody's comment first, and then the applicant will address each comment. Anybody else? Come on up, sir.
Good evening. My name is Peter Slaycher. I reside at 261 Richardson Road. I am the property to the west, adjacent to the Marinero residence. I'm in favor of her bid to augment the existing building to create an ADU. It would enhance the building that's already there. It would increase everyone's property values. ADUs are growing in popularity and designed to bring families together and share expenses and land space. What I do have an issue with is what you alluded to, is the fact that they're like, the town of Coventry came in and said that the backyard was actually the front yard. And my house is right next to hers, and my front yard I consider to be facing the pond, just as Lisa's does. I use the side door, so I'm wondering if I were to try and build an ADU, would my side door suddenly become the front of my house? You know, it didn't make any sense to me. You know, the mailbox is on the front of the house, and the houses are just like that. But anyway, I would encourage the town of Coventry to relax some of these regulations and allow families to come together. You know, I think that's what it's all about, is just trying to share expenses. Things are very tight for people these days, and I appreciate it if the town of Coventry could pursue that avenue. I think it would be helpful for everyone, you know, and I appreciate your time, and I commend you for your patience up here, because I could not do what you do. It's an amazing feat.
Sometimes I wonder myself.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Come on up. Name and address, please.
My name is Will Schleicher. I am at 261A Richardson Road. I live with my father. Very appreciative of that, in gratitude. Please excuse my attire. I passed on keeping my bedtime to try and help keep this family behind me together. I just wanted to share some opinions. I think that homeowners should be incentivized to build equity and bring the average property values up. And additionally, keeping and bringing families together, I think, should be a priority of any municipality that operates to the benefit of its residents. Just want to say that I think this renovation would be as far from the road as the property allows, certainly out of the view of the main leg of the road and out of the way. What I consider to be the main leg of the road is where everyone's mailboxes are, where everyone's trash is picked up from the north end. What's being asked for is an existing structure to be made suitable for Jonathan to live closer to his mother. A far cry from erecting a new building or terraforming an entire lakefront property, as has been approved for other residents on our road in the past. I would only hope that the leadership here could appreciate and appeal to have Lisa's son closer to her, especially as she ages into retirement and eventually to the degree that she may or will need her son close by in order to keep her, to help her when the day comes that she can no longer help herself. Additionally, this project will involve no asphalt. Thank you for your time.
You know you're making her cry, you know that. Thank you.
I've shoveled her yard for years. I'll always be here to support her.
Anybody else on this side of the room? Come on up, sir.
Hi, yeah, Jonathan Shank. I'm at 241 Richardson Road. I'm the son of Lisa. This is what, we're doing this to try to help me out and help her out. Just a little story. We've lived on this property for like 27 years. I grew up there. I was, I think, 11 years old when we bought the property. I fished on that lake for years. I've been through those woods. I know many of the people here that are speaking. I got 2 kids. I got divorced a few years ago. I want to stay close to them. I want to have something that I can share with them. That lake, that property is a big part of me, and then something that I'd like to share with them as well. They come see me when they can, and they really enjoy it. But right now, it's very, very tight. And, as everybody knows, property values across the state are just increasing. To buy a new house nowadays is very difficult, even when you are making decent money, with expenses and child support and everything like that. This is an option for us to have some space, that gives me space and gives my mother some space, and it still allows me to bring the kids there and enjoy the property like I did when I was a kid, without having to decide to move far away where I could buy a house that's cheaper, which would not be anywhere close to the mother of my children or my mother. And so I'd like the council here to approve this, just to keep us together and enjoy my memories with my kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side? Anybody else on this side? Come on up, sir.
Daniel Albro, 185 Richardson Road. I think it's great. Families want to be together. My concern is what happens in the future. Does this turn into a rental piece of property? Because I'm right across the street. These neighbors have been great neighbors, and I know everybody in this room. I've seen them all. But I'm just concerned. I'd be more apt to say, put a big addition on the house. Now it's a home. It's the same family. My concern having another structure and somebody passes away down the road and then that gets rented out, that it would stay family. I don't know if there's anything that you can do to make sure that it's only family that lives there and it can't be rented out to strangers and other people. And like somebody said, the road is really narrow and the road is in very bad shape if you have any pull at the town level to get the road fixed. But it's a very narrow road, and I'm blessed to be in this neighborhood. They're all great people. I think families should stay together. If they want to build a garage, I know we all need bigger garages, But to build a separate house on a small piece of property, I'm a little leery of, and I'd rather see an addition go on the house so the family stays in one unit.
Thank you. Anybody else? Come on up.
Deborah Moran, 181 Richardson Road. I'm diagonally across the street. My concern is the size, because I know that the height of it will block quite a bit, and I'm concerned with the fact that it's so close to the next-door neighbor's yard. There's not much room to move there. You worry about things like the fires and that type of thing. Can the fire trucks get in there? Can all this, is there room for all this? I have 20-plus acres. We have 20-plus acres there across the street. And we had horses there for many years. They're all gone, unfortunately. But anyways, that is my big concern, that and the fact that we would like to keep it as a small neighborhood. I appreciate the fact that they want someone, they want to keep their family together. But I agree, maybe a house that is built onto the house that's there might be a better option as opposed to taking up space where there doesn't seem to be much space there to take up. Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else? Come on up.
Jennifer Sweat, 239 Richardson Road. I'm in a butter also. I understand the emotional side to this, and I actually fully support that. It's the size of it that I have an issue with, and the reasoning of some of the looking for exceptions, especially the looking to change some of the zoning designations. There are things that are mays but not shalls, don't have to be done to get it to conform. I don't see it as something with all these variances that fits into the style of the neighborhood. I think smaller could accommodate the same thing. I like the idea. Smaller is, you get less, but smaller would have less impact. I know there's wording that gets used that makes us think they're absolutes. The word modest, I think it's actually a very big building for the type of structures that are in there. So things are relative. And I think something smaller could be done. Also, the wording that is necessary and would be a hardship to be smaller, I don't agree with that either. So I would just urge you to look at this changing of the zoning from the, if I get it right, the 2 to the 20 plus there's a 5 in there. I don't even understand the 5, to try to make it acceptable, and that's actually not. It's a R2, and that's quite different as far as meeting all those requirements, and maybe consider something of an even more modest nature. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? I don't see anybody here. Anybody on Zoom?
Hello?
Yeah, name and address, please.
Hello?
Yes,
Hi,
we can
I'm
hear
Sarah
you.
Morgan. I live at 297 Richardson Road. I live on this street too. I'm actually looking into making an ADU for my son because family is very important, and I'm glad that people stay together. But on this lot that's only 25,000 square feet, we've got a much larger lot down the way, and the way I read the rules, it could be 1 story and only 750 square feet. And that, to me, is a modest size home. But another 1,000 square foot, over 1,000 square foot, that's a big house. On these little places, That's a big house, and that would, and that there's no basement, the sewer is not specified what they're gonna do exactly. There's a lot of ledge there, and if there's not a septic system that is usable and functional in an extremely good way, that's two houses on a tiny lot using one sewer system worth of, one septic tank worth of stuff. So I am very concerned about the size as well. I do think family is important. I do plan on building an ADU, but it's within specifications. It seems like a huge house to me.
Thank you. Anybody else on Zoom? Put your hand up. See anybody, Doug? I can't see from here. There's a hand up? Come on in. Name and address, please.
Barbara Gallagher, 191 Richardson Road.
Go ahead.
Hi, I live on 191 Richardson Road, on the same road as Sarah and Deb Moran and the Archambaults. I would like to know how the septic system would have to change. I would like to know if a new well needs to be dropped. And I also have issues with the size of the ADU. It is clearly outside of the boundaries of the existing regulations. It also seems to me that an addition to the existing home would be certainly more appropriate than building it sounds like a multi-bedroom house, which is 40% larger than the already approved ADUs in the neighborhood. I too, along with Mrs. Morgan, have considered adding an ADU to my property, but my property is 17 acres. And this is such a small property that I don't see how such a large ADU would be appropriate for this neighborhood, for the septic system, for the wells, and also for other issues that may occur with the development.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have their hand up on Zoom? Seeing none? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to,
Through
go
the
ahead,
chair, if you don't mind, we did receive one
okay.
written comment. I'm just going to read that for the record. We received one written comment. It was emailed to staff at 2:10 today from Scott Andrews. My name is Scott Andrews. I live on the property at 201 Richardson Road. I'm writing today to inform you of my thoughts on the construction of a new home on the existing land in the neighborhood. It is not an ADU, but rather a full house. The land is not zoned for a full-size house, as there is already a house on that property. I am against this construction as it will have detrimental effects to the rest of us in the neighborhood. The well water we all use could be affected by the creation of a new leach field, as well as a new well being dug so close to the other properties. This is not a small ADU or even a modest home. What is proposed is a 3-bedroom house requiring extensive work. This is not zoned, not permitted, and not welcome in the neighborhood. Thank you. Regards, Scott Andrews.
Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Make a motion to close public
I have a
hearing.
motion by Mr. Smith. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Burke, second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Come on up, Mr. Cronin.
So I guess before I begin to respond, if I could take a look at the photographs?
Yes. So, I don't think there's a problem putting a buffer there. Some apovites,
And if the consideration of landscaping is relevant, I did ask my staff person to put the aerial image. Dennis, do you mind just zooming or at least scanning the image so we can see, zooming out a little bit so we can see as much of the property, and then scanning it I think that's fine, Dennis. That just gives you a sense of the existing vegetation around the perimeter of the subject property, which is highlighted in yellow, so.
Could we zoom into where the ADU
Yeah,
is
you
going,
could.
which is the other portion that Dennis didn't, down there? Yep, thank you.
That's a good zoom. Actually, one more out, Dennis, just to give everyone a sense. I think that's a good zoom for us.
Yeah.
So
So there's vegetation around the property.
On the neighbor's property.
I would say, one comment I would make, and of course you guys know me, and you know that I was out there snooping today, because I never appear before you without going there. These trees are all trimmed up. You can see them in this aerial, but they're trimmed up 10 feet. They are, they're, you know.
You can walk under them.
Yeah, so, I wouldn't recommend that you rely on that. I mean, when I was there today, the evergreens were trimmed up, higher than the fence, so there was a fence underneath them, they were trimmed up above that. You know, just being honest and frank with the board, right? So, that's, the situation depicted in that photograph is more, there are trees, but they're higher than the structures that are that, you know, on our property and on the surrounding property. So I think Mr. Flynn's comment about a vegetative buffer is well-received and, you know, frankly, an idea that Sam and I were, you know, gossiping about over here in the chairs, right? I mean, it seems as though, at least for Mr. Archambault, a vegetative buffer on that side makes perfect sense. You know, there's no quibble with that. I mean, we could do it, you know, on both sides if it's productive. So, I guess that would require a little bit of maybe discussion, but,
Oh, this gentleman came up, and I think
Yeah.
he has a,
yeah,
you know, a good argument. I'd like to see a buffer there.
yeah.
As far as the septic, cesspool, I mean, we're going from a cesspool to a septic.
Yeah, so if you look,
Much better for adjacent property with wells. I mean, there's not a lot of cesspools around anymore.
no, I,
Getting rid of another one, it makes me happy.
yeah, I thought that
Especially
was
when
a
you have
big,
well, I
a big
mean-
positive of this plan, and it has been, you know, designed by a Coventry Survey and submitted to DEM, and it's going to be adequate and, you know, modern, up to the minute technology, and away from all the, you know, surrounding wellheads. You know, the trouble we run into on small lots with that problem, so that's why our existing well will stay where it is, right, to,
Yeah.
you know, to keep that. So I don't think the well and the septic are real concerns here. I think those are situations that are improving rather than a detriment, and certainly shouldn't have an impact on anyone else's property. We're not, you know, the joke of the night is it's not asphalt, right? And some of these folks made it, right? We're not increasing the impervious surface other than that addition of 16 by 24. So we'll have to handle that runoff probably with some drains. Given the landscape, we wouldn't be given too many options there. So those would be dry wells to keep that from going out onto Richardson Road, which, you know, as I admitted in my opening, is not the biggest road. You know, it's not. We don't want to interfere with that at all, right? We want that to stay the way it is. So, I guess it doesn't seem that the front yard request is really a big issue. I think legally, I could argue that it's in the rear yard, but, you know, I think it's going where it makes sense on this lot. So that leaves us with the height and the square foot issues, I think. I mean, you guys feel free to correct me. I'm just trying to read the tea leaves from what folks have said. So, you know, could we bring it down 3 feet?
Is it 1,000 square feet total, 1,024 square feet total?
That's right.
I mean, I don't think that's big, in my opinion.
Well, before we get there, though, one thing, Tom,
Go ahead.
and and I saw the new septic, and I kind of agree, it's down to those two issues. We've got a plan set, it shows the location of interior wall structures, but none of the rooms are labeled. Is this a 2 or a 3-bedroom home?
It's been designed as a one-bedroom home. That's
There's so many broken down rooms that you
Yeah.
can't tell what's a bedroom, and
I-
just because it doesn't have a closet,
Yeah,
I guess I'm trying, so this is a 1-bedroom home,
that's correct.
but it's,
The upstairs is submitted as storage.
okay, and it's 1,024 square feet. Does that include the second floor?
It includes the second
That
floor,
includes the
yes.
second
So
floor.
it's over,
Yeah.
what's it, 850 for a one-bedroom?
It's actually slightly smaller than that because the main house
Right,
is
it's a
smaller than
percentage
average, so
of the main house.
it's reduced from even,
730
Yeah.
and 900.
yeah, so it's reduced from the 850 number even further to that 729 and change number. So, I mean, because the second story is storage, I mean, we could bring the roof line down by 3 feet, but that's an expensive proposition. Design-wise, not construction-wise, we haven't put a shovel in the ground. But if we could, deal with that in some other way, like vegetative buffer, or, adding some landscaping so it couldn't be visible from the road, we could plant a beautiful tree in front
Green
of it.
Giants
Yeah,
create a
something,
good buffer. I
you
mean,
know.
I can see there's some hardship here.
Yeah,
I can relate. My daughter lives next door to me, and believe me, that's a blessing. I can go next door and see my granddaughter. There's nothing like it. Personally, I don't have a problem with it. I'll hear from the rest of the board. I don't have an issue with it.
I think that, I guess my offer is some landscape design here
All right,
to,
that-
to
definitely
not
this is a
only buffer
concern.
from the one neighbor, but to
Yes.
buffer from the street, buffer from the other side neighbor, so that it doesn't have the visual impact, which seems to be the concern. So anyway, I'm willing to listen to the board as well, but that seems to be the most practical suggestion.
Anybody else from the board have any concerns?
Can we, instead of, can we build to the side or somewhere, to like this for storage, to just bring it right down?
I mean, I think if we go closer to the road, that's where the new septic is, so, and, we're already working with reduced impact on the setbacks, as one of the neighbors mentioned, because it's a pre-existing non-conforming lot. We're already working with reduced setbacks to the neighbors, so I would hesitate to spread out the first floor footprint. I don't think that would be productive. I think that would bring us closer to a couple of the boundaries. But, if that's what the board would prefer, there seems to be a little bit of room to the north of the existing shed to put some of the square footage, if that,
I'm just listening to the.
yeah, yeah,
Talking about the height,
yeah.
so we can
Well,
add
the
a little
existing
bit.
building's 20 feet, and the new building's 23. By your eye, you're not gonna see a difference. I mean, it's certainly your opinion. I've stated mine. I think ADUs are gonna be around for a long time. I understand why people are doing ADUs, because of the price of housing. Fortunately, I was able to do something for my daughter, so she has her own house, but not too many people can do that. And I feel for that, and I think there's going to be a lot of changes on ADUs going forward, because people need to have more than 800 square feet. I mean, 1,000 square feet to me is not big. So I think there's going to be some changes coming down the line, because ADUs are really, and this is a perfect example why an ADU is needed, in my opinion. And I'm one of 6 people here.
So I think if the board would consider vegetative buffer on the widest part of the lot there to screen the two houses to the side, and then in front of the septic along the driveway, so that, the house is not as prominent to the eye, unless you pull into the driveway, seems like a practical solution to address some of the concerns.
So I was kind of saving my concerns, and I wanted to make sure I fully understood what the issue is. So I agree, I don't have an issue with the front yard versus the backyard, as you surmised. All right, we got a brand-new septic system suitable for both dwellings, although I'm assuming this is assumed to be a one-bedroom, and the other house is however many bedrooms it is, and that's what
Three.
the site's for. This lot is larger than some of the abutting properties. Personally, I'm a little reluctant to deviate from what is allowed by right on the square footage and the height, because I just don't want, before you know it, we're going to be inundated with these ADUs all looking for variances. We've already changed the code. It's 900 square feet maximum or the 730. I can go from 730 to 900. We're talking about shaving 4 feet off the end of the house, off of a 44-foot-long house that's supposed to be a one-bedroom dwelling. 4 feet off of both floors on that end will get you down to 900 square feet. I just did the math. And then you got the height. So now you still need a variance on the size of the house because of the lesser of portion of the restriction, but at least you're down to the 900 that's considered allowable by right. And you're back into conformance on the height. And certainly, it is a unique situation with having the two streets and physical access on one side and the front of the house on the other. So I don't see that as an issue. That's just how I think. I just don't want to start seeing these things coming before us every single month where someone says, well, I want to go bigger than what's allowed by right because I need the space, or whatever the issue is. I don't think... And as the gentleman indicated, if something happens down the line, this is actually perfectly suited to be rental property. It does not have to be occupied by a family member. That's not in the statute, Theo.
That's right.
ADUs are allowed by anybody. So I think we have to do a little bit of forward thinking before we just assume it's going to be solely occupied by a family member. So that's just my take.
And if I can jump in, that's why we're here, because it doesn't, it exceeds the square footage.
Right,
So
but
if they made it smaller, it wouldn't be in front of us.
Right, well, if they made it 900 square feet, it still would be because of the
Oh, 'cause of the
lesser
front
of.
yard.
Yeah, so again, what I'm trying to do is come up with what I consider to be an somewhat fair alternative. We said it's a one-bedroom house. I just don't see 1,216 square feet, that's bigger than my ranch house that I raised my family in.
That's the size of the larger house, Mr. Clunian.
That's the
No,
larger.
1,024 square feet.
Yeah, but you said 1216.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
a-
No, I'm sorry,
1,024,
1,024,
yeah,
yeah.
that's correct, yeah.
So, I don't know. That's just my take on it. I would like to see a smaller housing footprint and the roof lowered and the buffer, and I'd be good with it. And I know there's probably a design cost to that, but that's my concern.
Anybody else?
Yes. I concur with that.
All right.
Totally.
Go ahead, Mike, before I speak. All right, go ahead. No, Mike agrees
You good? I
with-
want to interrupt you.
Mike agrees with Rick.
Mr. Burke. No, so I'm very, very familiar with that area. We always called the Richardson Road the back road on Richardson Road. It's really tight back there. It's kind of a challenge to snowplow, as I did that for 21 years back there, and difficult to turn around by Scott Andrews down the end. So getting a fire truck back up in there and even a rescue would be a real challenge on the back road. And I do understand, across the street from Chip's house, it's quite a uphill to get where this house is. I fully support family and having an ADU in the area. They're really tiny, tiny lots. They were all like summer homes, probably in the 40s, 50s, 60s, before people started converting them. I do really like the idea of having an approved septic system, because there's still a lot of cesspools over there, and it would definitely improve the quality of the water in Quintic Reservoir, because I'm sure that runoff goes in there. But like Mr. Colonian said, you know, it's just too big. If we're doing a one-bedroom house, why do we need the storage upstairs? We're doing a one-bedroom house. Get the height down, it is very close to the neighbor. Get the height down, get down to the 900 square feet and do that vegetative buffer. Like I said, that Jeff Archibald showed us, they are close, as you were there, Tom. You know, they're close, they're tight. So an ADU is a good thing. I just don't want us to go down that road and everyone's coming with a variance for a bigger ADU. An ADU is an ADU. And I think even 900 square feet is, for that neighborhood, it's an adequate size for a one-bedroom house and a lower roof line. It would fit better. And like I said, even the main road that goes down along the water, it's tight. So I think 900 square feet and lower the roof line, and I'd be good with it. It's just too big.
Mr. Price, you have anything?
Yeah, I think I concur with what has been said recently. I do not have an issue with the front, back, whatever. But when I first looked at this, it did look like an additional house to me. 44 feet long is quite long along that skinny lot. So I would concur with them. I'd like to see a little bit more effort made to get closer to those, to the 900 square foot.
Okay, so you heard it from the board, 900 square feet, 20-foot height.
Buffer.
With the buffer.
With the buffer.
That's kind of where we're at.
Okay. So, Sam's got something to say.
Yep, come on up, Sam. Name and address.
I just wanted to talk with Tom.
Sam's got a 900-foot plan.
Need a couple minutes?
Can I ask for just a short?
Yeah, no,
break?
go.
Thanks.
Go ahead. Go ahead. He's got the alternate plan.
Does he have to resubmit, or can he alter the plan?
It could be conditioned, or he could make a modification or a commitment to a modification as part of this, but we'll see what he has to say.
Approved by staff, Doug?
Let's see what Mr. Cronin has, and I'll go through our options.
He doesn't want to answer the question, so I gotta go.
Don't show your cards.
No. Sam came up to tell me that these folks would love to accommodate their neighbors and this board, and have a 900 square foot home at 20 feet. Obviously, conditioned on that, add some vegetative buffering, and have that, I guess, approved by the staff. That's where we were just talking, or a building permit. That would still be a variance for front yard, right? Which, I don't know, that makes no sense, but whatever it is, we'll take it. And then one for the 108 extra square feet.
Yeah, the height variance actually goes away. Once you meet 20 feet, there's no height variance. So my thought is, the board, what's in front of the board is the consideration of a modification to the application that the applicant has just submitted, which is they're willing to modify down to 900 square feet. They're willing to remove the height variance, which means that they're free to build to the height up to 20 feet at their discretion as their plan sees fit. I'm hearing there's a desire for some landscaping. I'd love a little more specificity if we're going to add that as a condition of approval, whether that be, let's say, a certain number of arborvitaes.
I think infill to where the neighbor had this drawing.
Yeah, so that,
Just infill where you can see through, I think.
Well, can I just?
Sure, go ahead.
So what I'm suggesting is where there's, this is Mr. Aldrich's house, I believe. Put it so that you can't see right there, and then a little bit down by the driveway here, and then similarly, wherever this house is, I can't see it on this plan, but shielding direct vision. So, Sam tells me I can't put it on that side of the driveway. So maybe on this side.
That's all right.
The roots, Sam, get into the septic?
It's more,
Yeah.
more from the neighbor.
Yeah,
Right.
so on
Yeah.
the two sides,
Yeah,
yeah, right.
Tom, would
Whatever you
you,
can
would
do.
would you be willing to, and for, if you're willing to, it sounds like you're looking to do on each side. I think the critical consideration was the side where the neighbor is closest and the building is closest. Would you be willing to commit to, let's just say, a number of 8 abrevieties planted at 6 feet and allow them to grow from there?
Doug?
That way we have something specific around that?
Doug, could, and based on what Sam just showed, is the 40-foot length of the dwelling adequate? In other words, 40 feet in length,
Yeah, they
to
offer good screening.
basically equal to to mirror the, or parallel to the proposed building.
It's like deer candy, isn't it?
That gets you,
One consideration is abrevieties are a great screen. There's a lot of deer in this area, so I think that I would submit that the applicant could provide an abrevietie or similar type of tree.
Giants, I don't think that deer touch. I just did 26 of them. The green giants.
The green giants, they don't touch?
No.
listen,
All right. What I'll suggest is that, why don't we go with 8? Does that sound like an adequate number to the board to provide eight plantings on the east side of the proposed structure?
I felt more comfortable with the vegetated buffer parallel to the proposed structure and let them pick it because, I'm sorry, I'm thumbing through for my plan, but, okay, yeah, when you get, I guess there's no underground leach field or piping over there, so yeah, you
No.
should have enough space.
Yeah,
But I mean, that's basically starting beyond the septic system, beyond what we'll consider to be the front or the back of the house where the existing shed is, and then running right back to the property line. So the house is completely screened. 40 feet. Whether it's 8, 10, 20, depending on the type of material. If he wants to go with something that's wide, it's wide. If they're narrow, then it's going to be more. Just 40 feet of vegetated buffer parallel to the proposed dwelling.
So use the ADU as the measuring stick.
That's correct.
I gotcha.
Mirror the side of it.
Yep. I'm willing to work with that language of, so the idea is it's 40 feet, excuse me, roughly of vegetative buffer to be planted with the review of staff as an administrative consideration during the building permit. And my guidance would be, just so we have something to work with, I think an evergreen, arborvitae, it can be a green giant or similar type if there's some discussion amongst the neighborhood of a type of tree that fits. And we'll let the rest be something that's at the discretion of staff to ensure a good buffer. I should just make note to everybody, a vegetative buffer does not mean that the structure will be invisible to the neighbors, but it can provide a really solid screen and provide some enclosure. That doesn't mean that the structure can't be seen.
It will be with green giants, not too long.
We-
That's
we-
a good buffer.
We also have to consider the existing tree line that's there. There's pine trees on the other side, and they're going to overhang, and they're going to shield some of the light, so
There's
we may
gonna
not
be-
need the height.
Yeah, if you, Dennis, if you go back to the other screen with the aerial view, there is vegetation there. I think that what's happening is the vegetation is up high.
Right.
There's a gap below.
Right.
The other thing that's possible, and I'm curious to just get some feedback, is it's possible to go with a fence. I don't know if a fence would actually be a more effective screen in this area than arborvitaes. Why don't we give some optionality there? Because if they do some work and they find out these trees aren't going to grow, they're just going to die, let's at least have some backup plan. I think we could go with the maximum height of a fence in a residential area. I'll have to check my code. It might be 6.
6 foot.
And then at least we've got something there. So I'm gonna ask for the board to offer a condition of approval with this that offers that discretion to seek screening as evergreen trees or a fence for 40 feet at the discretion of the staff with discussions of the applicant on practicality of those applications.
Now, just for clarity, we won't need the variance for the height.
Yeah.
We
That's
won't
correct.
need- We won't need it for the 900 square feet, or?
You do.
we will?
Yeah, no matter how many bedrooms this house had, it was always going to need
Because of the percent,
relief
square
because of the 60% rule. So if the applicant is stating that they'll amend their application to 900, then I think we approve with a condition of approval
Yep.
that the square footage of the ADU not
The
to
front
exceed
yard.
900.
And I have the front yard, if you've ever been to that neighborhood, you can't tell what the front yard and what the backyard is, like Mr. Cronin was explaining, because the roads go on both sides. I mean, it's the same, except you don't have a driveway on the lakeside because it's too steep, that's the only reason. Because other properties, like Pete's down there, his driveway comes from the lakeside.
Yeah.
That's pretty much.
Well, we
what
still
I'm-
need the
We need
variance.
the variance. They're calling it the front, but I would call the other side the front.
I got it.
So let's do the motion on the
Okay.
variance first.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
His application? I did. Oh, I didn't hear you. I did.
Yep, yes, I would like to make a motion that we approve the amended application, that is the verbal amendment to the application that was originally before us, for an accessory dwelling unit with the associated dimensional variance, the owner applicant Lisa Marinaro at 241 Richardson Road, Assessors Plat 310, Lot 101, on a .64 acre lot, which currently has an existing single-family dwelling. The proposed use is a single-family dwelling with an accessory dwelling. The applicant is proposing to expand and convert the existing shed in the front yard into a 900-square-foot, one-bedroom accessory dwelling, which should measure approximately 16 by 40 feet on the existing 26,500 square foot subject parcel. The variance is for locating the ADU in the front yard and also exceeding the maximum floor area, which would be calculated to be approximately 730 square feet to the aforementioned 900 square feet. I'd like to incorporate the planning director's report and all of the findings of fact that are contained
And
within
you want
it.
to add maximum height 20 foot?
Yeah, and the maximum height of the accessory dwelling unit will be 20 feet, which no longer requires a variance.
And through the chair, I just offer that the staff findings are still applicable because we're still talking about roughly the front yard issue, and we're still talking about a size increase issue. So I do believe the staff report findings are still applicable to the amended application. I would also advise the board, just in abundance of caution, the applicant has amended, but for clarity, let's have it a condition of approval in the decision that just clarifies the 900 square foot maximum. And I think it's clear that we're offering two variances tonight. We're not offering a height variance, which ultimately limits the applicant to 220 feet or the height of the existing structure. So
Correct.
we'll make those pieces clear that this variance is offering
I think
two.
Mr. Colonian did say that.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, correct. So so yes, the maximum square footage of the proposed ADU will be 900 square feet. And I would also like to add to the condition of approval that the applicant has agreed to install either a vegetated buffer or a fence to, I guess, to the, what is it, the easterly?
The easterly
Easterly
side.
boundary for approximately 40 feet in length, which would be parallel with the proposed dwelling.
I have a motion by Mr. Colonian on the variance. I have a second.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Smith. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We thank the board.
Okay.
Thank you.
I need another motion
Yeah,
on the ADU.
Just allow it to proceed to building permit.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we allow the ADU to proceed to building permit, assuming the conditions are met.
I have a motion by Mr. Colonian, second by Mr. Reyes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
Good luck.
One more. It's the most complex one we have, and I hope it's the quickest. The next one's a 75-unit development, but I have a feeling that it might be the quickest one tonight.
You grew up here. Yeah.
We have another matter due in front of us. We'd like to move on to the next matter. If we could bring our conversations out to the hallway, please. Thanks for your patience, Speaker. I can't believe you got out of something early. What kind of jerk am I?
Yeah, I rushed.
Joe, you wouldn't believe the things that changed in between that conversation.
Okay, we ready to continue here? Let me get... Okay, next we have New London Preserve Public Informational Meeting, Preliminary Plan, Major Land Development, Owner Applicant, Alpha Holdings LLC, AP7, Lot 25, AP8, Lots 2, 3, and 9, AP16, Lot 133, Zone R20 Residential, New London Turnpike. Applicant proposes to develop 75 detached, single-family condominium units, each of which will have roughly 2,500 square feet in size and include a combination of 1 to 2 car garages and basement garages. The project will also include pedestrian walkways, lighting, landscaping, visiting parking areas, and site amenities. The applicant was previously granted zone variances for proposed multifamily dwellings units, same lot and dwelling unit density allowances, and I also believe we have 20% affordable on this project.
That is correct.
Name and address, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, and honorable members of the Coventry Planning Board. For the record, Attorney K. Joseph Shikachi, law office at 51 Jefferson Boulevard, Suite 400, Warwick, Rhode Island. Representing the applicant tonight with me is my co-counsel, Joe Brennan, the applicants themselves from Alpha Holdings, and the project engineer, Sam Hemingway from Garofalo Associates. Before you tonight is a request for approval from this honorable board. As you indicated, we had already received master plan approval and technical review committee approval for 75 condominiums, but which will look like, in essence, single-family homes. They are 20% going to be deed restricted affordable. That was something we negotiated from the beginning with staff. We're here tonight to answer any questions. If the board feels comfortable to issue preliminary approval, we would respectfully request that the final approval be given administratively by staff. Through this process, there was maybe 1 or 2 neighbors with some concerns. We talked to them. There's been no widespread opposition to this. We think this is a good plan for development. We have read through the conditions that the staff has recommended. We have no objection. Our engineer and the clients have read through that. And we think this helps the town meet its affordable housing goal. So we think it's a win-win for everybody. Gets a lot of, the homes, in essence, if you drive by, you're going to think they're single-family homes. You would never know they're a homeowner association. We've agreed to put a minimal amount of sidewalk as requested to match what the abutting development is doing. It's a good location for this type of development. Be happy to answer any questions, the client or the engineer, but we need, obviously, all of the other approvals, and we're going to continue to work through those as well.
I'd like to thank you also for reaching out to the neighbors, because really, that's important.
Yeah, there may be some here tonight, I don't know, but they're certainly not.
Appreciate you reaching out.
Thank you.
Because when they have concerns and you can get things together, it makes it easy for everybody. So I do appreciate that.
Thank you, Chairman. That concludes my presentation. Be happy to answer any questions or call up Mr. Garofalo if you have any.
Yeah, I think the only thing I have
Hemingway.
on this is the drainage.
I'll call up Mr. Hemingway from Garofalo Associates.
I know our existing drainage issue, I believe it's Longfellow, at DPW. Name and address, please.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, my
Thank
name
you.
is Sam Hemingway. I'm an engineer with the firm of Garofalo and Associates, doing business out of Providence.
So I know our DPW director was concerned about that drainage issue on Longfellow. I know you said you're not going to add to it. Is there anything you can do to maybe lessen the burden?
Yeah, what we did was two things. One, we investigated that area to see if there were some avenues to make some improvements. Effectively, there really is no drainage in that anywhere near the property to the north. So it was an old platted, improved subdivision. It's actually recently been repaved, but there are virtually no drainage until you get much farther north in the project. So effectively, you'd have to go up recently repaved roads and it frankly wouldn't be cost-effective anyway. What we were able to do is remove the development from the very northernmost part of the project, so we realigned some of the units, maintaining the density, but took the development from that northernmost watershed out of the project. So we were never increasing the runoff in that direction anyway, but at this time, we're effectively making no change to the watershed at all. There was a minor comment from TRC about some of the watershed mapping. That's what it was about. It was effectively, we used to have improvements there, and we took them away so that there was some remaining demarcations on the mapping that were reflective of old work that we frankly just weren't doing anymore. So very, very minor change, not much betterment, but certainly no adverse
Thank you.
impacts.
Anybody else on the board have any questions? Anybody for the applicant? All set? Okay, hearing none. I know by law we.
I don't think there's anybody on Zoom.
Well, I'm going to go to.
We'll take courtesy comments.
So I know by law preliminary, master plan is public comment, public hearing, preliminary. We still want to do public comment, just so anybody that wants to speak on the project. So if anybody in the room would like to speak, come on up, sir.
Those shoes are in rough shape.
Name and address, please.
Yep, Scott Beecher, 8 Westcott Way in Crompton Meadows, right next to, adjacent to this property. No problem in general, but just wanted to ask the developer about ledge and any blasting, and just make sure that we're covered. We're up against the berm that leads into this quarry. Glad to see they're not touching the water area, too. Thank you.
I'm going to let everybody come up, and then you can address it. Anybody else have anything to say? Come on up, sir.
Richard Figazola, 281 Crompton Road, East Greenwich. I'm wondering how far from my line to their line that they're going to leave as far as a buffer or something.
What number are you?
281.
Sir, are you able to pick out your
Can
lot
we just
on
bring
map?
blow the map up, so he can show us where he is adjacent to this project?
Put your finger on it.
Yeah.
Don't touch the screen or else it'll jump around. Scroll down a little bit. I bet he's on the southern end of the. The Crompton Road's at the bottom of your screen, sir, at the very bottom.
So I'm probably right here. Because that's your emergency.
Where?
road, correct?
Correct, that's the emergency only access.
That's my neighbor and that's me.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
read it.
Sam, I mean, that was.
Okay,
Right
yep.
here.
The
Yep,
scale
okay,
bar's up
second
there.
lot.
I know that was addressed in master, but, well, they'll address it again for you.
It was, yeah.
Yes.
But I think he told me that he was going to have somebody come look. They were going to look at the land, my backyard.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Do we have any hands up on Zoom?
No one on Zoom.
Okay. Would you like to come up and?
Mr.
Hemingway is trying to calculate the distance, but as you can see, it's a pretty substantial difference, and we will send someone out to make sure, but we moved them to stay out of that watershed area. There seems to be a really good buffer, and I am not an engineer, so I don't pretend to be, at least a couple hundred feet of natural undisturbed buffer between this gentleman's house. As far as blasting goes, that's a valid concern. There are strict state rules and guidelines. We will obviously be fully insured, use licensed bonded people. If there were ever something caused by blasting on our property that we are required by law, and if you want to put it in a decision that we would certainly make good, address liability, anything that was caused by blasting or damage that we had to do.
You'll be bonded on blasting, if in fact you have
If
to.
we have, that's the point I'm saying. We don't even know if we have to, but if we do, state law requires us to use licensed and bonded contractors to do that work.
I was going to say, so at this point, you don't know whether or not you anticipate hitting ledge and needing to blast? Or there's a likely,
Defer to
yeah, sure.
Sam.
You need his name and address again?
It is certainly anticipated that some ledge removal will be required. Whether or not it would need to be blasted is not really determined at this point, so,
And we-
certainly hammering would be
Okay, yeah,
expected.
and we don't know exactly where either.
No, but, okay, so just so you're familiar, because we have other areas of town where they have subdivisions going on, usually what it entails is the police department puts a notice on Facebook that a permit's been issued. I don't know if the neighbors are individually noticed, but in this case, Crompton Meadows is a condominium association. And if I could, Mr. Chair, if I could just ask the gentleman that came up, do you have like an email notice thing, like if Crompton Meadows has something going out where they blast everybody?
Yeah, we don't, the HOA hasn't formulated yet, but we do have an email distribution list, yeah.
And who manages that?
Catherine, somebody,
Okay, well, as good faith effort, all I'm saying is if you do anticipate blasting, in addition to noticing the town, could you just notice the folks at Crompton Meadows? Hopefully, they'll have their homeowners association.
I'm pretty sure that that's owned, or at least developed at the moment, by Anthony Del Vicario.
Yeah.
And he's a client of mine as well, so I can have no
So as
problem.
long as they know that it's going on and they're not saying, geez, we didn't see it on Facebook, we didn't get a notice, and
Certainly.
they'll know. And again, just so that you're aware of it, and then you can kind of monitor.
Tony is not a communicator, to say it politely, so we would like to distribute things through the homeowner.
I will, and
email.
he's got a partner named Chuck Anderson, who's a little bit more communicative, and I can contact him, no?
Yeah, he's left the complex.
Oh, he is,
No
okay.
longer-
I haven't done work for them in a while, but I know they did develop that.
I can say the town is much better getting notice out for blasting, because we had some issues on Town Farm Road and different areas. So the town is much better getting stuff on the website about blasting. So keep your eyes on that, and then, of course, he's going to reach out.
Just to follow up, it's about 150 feet. I think,
150
from the
feet?
property line to the,
All right.
either building or road.
Mr. Ficazolas?
What
Yeah.
about Crompton Road? Can we get a notice too? Would you like to provide your contact information for the applicant to give you notice, sir? Yep. That's the easiest way for us to give you notice. Okay. Yep.
Anybody else? You're all set in your presentation? I think we're ready for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Burke.
For the New London Preserve, this is the preliminary plan. The owner applicant is Alpha Holdings. The address is New London Turnpike, AP 7 Lot 25, AP 8 Lots 2, 3, and 9, AP 16 Lot 133, Zone R20, and the lot size is 53.9 acres. The existing use is vacant, and the proposed use is single-family condominium units. The applicant proposes to develop 75 detached, single-family condominium units, each of which would be roughly 2,500 square feet in size and include a combination of one-car, two-car, and basement garages. The project will also include pedestrian walkways, lighting, landscaping, visitor parking areas, and other on-site amenities. The applicant was previously granted zoning variances for proposing multiple single-family dwelling units on the same lot and dwelling unit density allowances. I am going to include the findings of fact. The findings of fact that are in the planning director's report. The conditions of approval that are dated 9/19/2025.
And through, just to make sure this is clear, that includes the substitute conditions that you received and the applicant received tonight.
Which includes the addition of the conditions of approval that were submitted tonight. And I will make a favorable motion, and the final plan will be administratively. And that is, and include the planning director's report in my motion.
Thank you. I have a motion by Mr. Burke, I have a second by Mr. Reyes. Any discussion?
Just discussion for the record. I know it was said earlier, it wasn't on the preface, but this is a 20% affordable.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, that's correct. That is in our conditions
I
of
didn't add
approval.
that to the motion because we discussed it.
I'm
Yep.
sorry, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure. Yep.
All right, no problem. So any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, thank you for waiting.
Who would have thought that was the quickest one?
I want enough to hear the ADUs, though.
Nah, there's a director's report, and I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah, you know, and if it's locked, I'll help lock it. I'm gonna figure something out. Okay, as long as you get.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.
Great job. Thanks, David. Great job. Yeah, you too.